World-class sprinter. He's trialled exceptionally well, and he returns in a really winnable race. I think a few of the opposition might have been scared off here. Shiraz 550 and the second favourite.
Shiraz has come in.
Will he get to there? All right, Lincoln Rupee is horse number one in the mounting yard, and before we get...
Not the best. His record over the past 2 years has been quite extraordinary. International rating of
$400,000 up for grabs here, so a great incentive for all the owners to run their horses here.
They're racing. Lincoln Rupee, one of the first to jump on the outside. Alpha Miss got away very quickly early. Shiraz was up there with the Monstar, and then I Love It settling down second last on the rail, and 2 lengths to Cash. So up the side of the course they race, and Lincoln Rupee is staying extremely wide by the 800 metres. He's up there on the pace, about a length in front from Alpha Miss, and Shiraz on the rails as he crosses down to the inside now, the favourite. 2 lengths away the Monstar, followed by I Love It, and 3 lengths to Cash. At the 500, Lincoln Rupee over a length to Alpha Miss, a length Shiraz, a length and a half away then is the Monstar. I Love It second last, the rail Cashed at the end. 400 left to go. Lincoln Rupee stays off the fence. He leads by a couple. Alpha Miss tracks him. Shiraz near the inside, and then the Monstar and I Love It coming to the 200. He's shaking up Lincoln Rupee. Knew it. He leads by a length. Alpha Miss is staying right on his hammer, and then I Love It followed by Cash down the outside. Lincoln Rupee, there's not a lot there, and Alpha Miss has got him at the 100, and Cash is after them, but Alpha Miss hit the front, and Alpha Miss won it from Cash second. Lincoln Rupee is in a tight photo for third with the Monstar. They're followed then by I Love It and Shiraz last home.
upset. Alpha Miss first up for Robert Smurden. Craig Williams finishing too well. Cash charging late. Lincoln Rupee, I don't know what to say. Disappointing, clearly. But Alpha Miss far too good, taking out this.
3, the Monster, who continues to race well this campaign at a high level.
Lincoln Rupee is in a tight photo for third with
well, he runs third. Craig Newitt says they go another 100 metres. He runs nearly last. He has clearly got a physical issue because he's a lot better than those at his best. Cash comes back from the rear of the field, hits the line.
His whole career, and that was an operation he had as a foal on some little issue with a leg that has just become an ongoing management concern, and it's led to what we saw yesterday. I spoke to a
very good 2-year-old. She was off the scene for a long time, probably had injury, I don't know what was wrong with her, but bought by Aquanita, now in the Robert Smurden stable, and I thought he'd just kick here and he'd get 2 or 3 lengths in front, but here I knew he was in trouble because when he went for put the foot on the gas, there wasn't much there. And she's run him down, Alpha Miss, and out wide there is that Cash running into the slot as well. You know, he's been beaten well and truly on his merits there.
Disappointing. You look at the horses around him, you say disappointing, you know.
Since then, we've had a little bit of money for excess knowledge, and the favourite Umbrella at one stage was $3.20 out to $3.40, and then from there out to $3.80. So there you can see, just ahead of Bohemian Lily, excess knowledge. We took a good bet of $3,500 each way. Prince
100 metres, $400,000 Group 2 race, and of course, if the connections take it up, entry
for excess knowledge. So they've been better backed. The two you want to look at double-figure odds are Prince of Penzance and also Black Tomahawk.
Boy, Umbrella slipped behind again. I think he did that in the Turnbull, but it was worse today. And he's back towards the tail end of the field. And Bohemian Lily shot out of it, the stalls, towards the inside. She's the early leader. At first sight, being ridden aggressively to be on the speed, with Ethiopia in the centre, and they lead early from Black Tomahawk, fourth for the circuit to go. They're followed by Albinetti over on the inside of Mr. Impatience, just caught a little bit wide. Bondiga the rail, and then Escada on the outside. There is excess knowledge, about 9 lengths away from the leader. Amrattle's a further length and a half away, 1,400 to go. And then Prince of Penzance with Bakila at the end. Bohemian Lily allowed to roll along under Karen McAvoy. She's doing it at her own leisure. She's unattended by 2 lengths, 1,200 to go. Second at first sight. There's the move. It's Hugh Bowman off on Amrattler. He darted across the field and he's gone to take up the lead now. So it's Amrattler in front, leads by a length. Second Bohemian Lily, and on the outside Ethiopia goes up and pockets the mare. A length and a half at first sight, followed then by, down on the inside is Albinetti. They're followed by Excess Knowledge, a length and a half away is Black Tomahawk, and then Escado Bondiga. He's 2/3 back on the inside. Back behind those, there's Mr. Impatience making his run round the outside. Welbeck Sartorius, he's hard ridden. Prince of Penzance, one of the last. At the 600, Amrattler by a length and a half. Bohemian Lily still looks to have a kick left. Off the bit is Ethiopia. Then At First Sight. Round the outside, Black Tomahawk, and coming with him is Escato as they neared the home turn. Prince of Penzance trying to work into it, but Amrada's kicked away. Amrada's by more than 2 lengths, got them all off the bit chasing from Bohemian Lily. Good battle going on for third. Excess Knowledge and Bondiga's got through, but Amrada still by 3, going powerfully here. Holds Bohemian Lily, Bondiga, and then Excess Knowledge, but it's all Amrada. Didn't matter that he missed the start, he's trounced them. Amrada won it by 3 lengths, Excess Knowledge. Bohemian Lily third in a photo, just ahead of Bondiga, and then Black Tomahawk, Sartorius Escato, Prince of Penzance, and At First Sight. Back behind them was Bakila ahead of Ethiopia.
Amrella outstanding, winning the Herbert Power on a week back up after missing a place in the Turnbull Stakes last Sunday. That was pure staying power, and what a wonderful tactical ride it was by Hugh Bowman. From back in the field, whipping around, taking the running up with about 900 metres to go, and from there making a one-act affair. Excess Knowledge closing in.
Things against, you heard him slip at the start. He's made a mid-race move, and look, he's and absolutely thrashed them. So the short answer, he's in a different class to them. And a dominant win, and well,
beautifully. What happened at the start? Our plan was to be in the first 2 or 3, depending on tempo, of course, but look, the horse just knuckled when he jumped, and I just had to eliminate. Pace came right back to me, and I thought, look, I'm just going to make up a few lengths here and try and get the horse into a rhythm. And as I increased, so did some of the others because of the slackening pace, and gave me no choice but to just pop up around. And I got to the top, the horse had the bit in his mouth, he was travelling well, and rhythm is the key in these longer races. And although it wasn't a textbook move to do what I did, I sort of just rode the horse instead of the race, and didn't he? Goes forward a little bit better than Sea Moon did for us, although he is running in Ireland tomorrow night, I think. So anyway, this horse, look, he's a very nice horse. We bought him off Mick Shannon, who trained him in England for Prince Faisal. He sent him over here in absolutely beautiful condition. He got here for the McKinnon last year and unfortunately hurt himself behind in that race. He then did it. He's done it again once since. We got him right, took him to Adelaide. He won very impressively. Last week, Damien Oliver had absolutely no luck as he slipped in the barriers like he did again today. And not for a stride in the Turnbull Stakes could he ever get him into that position that you saw today he needed to be in. Huey had the opportunity going around the back there at the top of the hill. You know, you can't beat these sportsmen when they're in form, and Huey's at the absolute top of his game. You could see that. He knew the horse had to be in the first 2 or 3, and he got him there, and he walked away from it. You know, I don't think you'd see many. Oh, he's right up there. He's a horse that, along with Faulkner, we through this whole preparation, we've rated right up the top. We really like this horse.
Off Preferment in the Hill Stakes in Sydney to start before, yet Amrala's missed the start, sat back last, lightning move, come away and bolted in and sprinted home 35.25 there. Excess Knowledge is ticking over nicely for Gay. Waterhouse runs in for second. Bondiga's improving as the distance go longer and longer. It's run fourth, but the story of this race, Simon Marshall, was Huey Bowman.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The mid-race move at the 1400 when the pace slackened was terrific. Watch him here dip behind twice, and again on that offside hind, the left of screen, his hind leg. You can watch it once, twice, watch it again. Just here, see it wobble and wobble again.
He's got to be sore.
Just got
Could that haunt him?
Long shooting the breeze, doing about even time. Huey said, "This is not good enough for me. I've had a soft run last week at the Weight for Age mile and a quarter. I'm going to let roll up the hill." Not working. He's got his ears pricked. He gets to the front. Now when it plateaus out along the railway side, 1,000 metres here. Look at him. Excess Knowledge, I think. Bohemian Lily, she was quite on the slate.
Yeah. You know what? If it was 30 years ago, you'd give him the cup, the Melbourne Cup, right now. If it was 20 years ago, you'd nearly give it to him.
The Melbourne Cup.
The Melbourne Cup.
He needs a 2 kilo penalty to try to get into the field.
Assuming he's in, it's only the Japanese and the new era, Dave, that stops that being automatic Melbourne Cup winner.
That's not a lightning move.
It was lightning compared to the others.
It's just that they didn't read the speed of the race. They all wanted to go even time.
But, you know, to do this is... They're not instructions you would ever give a jockey to do that. And, you know, he's taken that initiative there and it's worked out absolutely beautifully. Gee, it was a strong staying effort. You just can't take it away from him. He's carried 58.5 there and done that as well. It's not like he carried a featherweight and did it.
He slipped at the start.
Yeah.
And Huey thought, I can't win from back here.
No.
I've got to go.
And Hugh just took that initiative. They let him take it, and he's pulled their pants down again. And this horse has got 51.5 in a Melbourne Cup. Now, I think he's down around 60, 61 on the order of entry. But straight after the race, Greg Carpenter was tweeting what a great effort that was. Yeah. I'm tipping he's getting a penalty.
Well, he doesn't run in the Caulfield Cup, does he? He can't run 3 weeks in a row.
Well, how much penalty does he need to get in the Cup?
I
That's
don't know.
the thing.
He's at 61 now. How much do you reckon that needs?
How much can we penalise, give a horse out of a Group 2 race like this? I suppose there's a dominance in the performance. And look,
dominance?
I say, I want a horse like that in the Melbourne Cup, an in-form horse.
That's where Protectionist came through.
Last year's winner came out of this race, yeah.
And that's... he backed up from last week, so he's a backup horse. He's had 2 hard runs within a week, within 6 days, and it sort of franks the form of the Turnbull last week as well.
It probably doesn't... I don't know, you know...
Let's take a look at the first of our Group 1s, and Faulkner was the best backed coming into today. I mean, Lankan Rupee took that mantle, but we had a lot of money for Faulkner, but just starting to go out now, because Kermadec... Can you believe Kermadec's $3.80? I can't. Faulkner's $4.60. At one stage it touched $3.90, because the market mover is Pornichet. 6th, though, that stage, at one stage we bet $2.75. So now it's $3.80. Faulkner got in as low as $3.90, back out to $4.60, but we did take some massive bets on Faulkner earlier. The 2 market movers are Pornichet and Criterion. Criterion 13's into $6.50, and
30 years they've had 10 4-year-olds have won this race. Yet no winner through the George Main, which...
And they're all in. Set to go. The Caulfield Stakes. The Caulfield Stakes, and caught them well. Criterion a little slow, and Kermadec, they go towards the end early. Mongolian Khan, Pornichet, Faulkner, the 3 early leaders with Entirely Platinum on their outside, and Contributor gets a nice trail just off the speed early. 2 lengths to Happy Trails, 1 Criterion, and 2 lengths to Kermadec at the end. Battle for the lead is still going on. Entirely Platinum is pressing on and takes up the running. He's done a little bit of wide work, but he is the leader, hasn't yet crossed over. Faulkner's up there with Pornichet, who seeing the inside still without any cutting to drop out of the race a little bit, followed by Happy Trails, Criterion, Kermadec on the fence, about 7 lengths covering them, and up the side it is Entirely Platinum by a length. Faulkner right on the speed, Pornichet on the rails, Contributors 4th, poised. They're followed by Mongolian Khan. Next Happy Trails, 1.5 Criterion. Kermadec back on the inside, playing for a bit of luck now. He's last on the fence. Entirely Platinum leads before the home turn. Faulkner creeping a touch closer, 600 to go. Then Pornichet, Contributor, taking off Criterion. Happy Trails just ahead of him. Mongolian Khan shuffle back a little bit. Kermadec away from the fence. 5 lengths first to last. He is last and needs the burst around the turn. Faulkner claims the lead. Criterion tries to run on deep out. Contributor comes through in the middle. Happy Trails has got clear room. 200 left to go. Kermadec coming on down the outside. Criterion and Happy Trails claim the lead together. Criterion, Happy Trails down the outside is Kermadec. Criterion and Happy Trails in the dying stages. Mongolian Khan lifting, but Criterion wins. The Globetrotter scores well from Happy Trails and Mongolian Khan, and close up Kermadec 4th. They got away on Contributor. Faulkner dropped out with Entirely Platinum, and last to finish Pornichet.
Well, there's your new Cox Plate favourite, Criterion. Outstanding first up, back from Europe, barnstorming finale under Michael Walker to win so impressively. Happy Trails, as brave can be, has grabbed second. A Mongolian Khan, terrific performance with the BMW Caulfield Cup, his goal next week. He's hit the line powerfully. What a race, Gator.
Yeah, look, all honest to the winner for mine. He sat back off a moderate speed, and he's...
Amazing, obviously through the support of David and Tom, their staff, all their owners, so it's a huge thrill, and also Sal and Glenn. We had 2 plans. The plan A was to go forward outside the leader. The second plan was to ride it out how it unfolds. I chose plan B straight away. I thought it was a better plan, and honestly, 600 metres out, he pulled me into the race and went a little bit off the bit cornering. As soon as he straightened, mate, he's a tough horse, and he's a true weight for age star. And
pre-race, if they couldn't beat him today, they wouldn't beat him again in the Cox Plate. That was outstanding.
Yeah, look, we've left really nice improvement in him, and when you're travelling horses, you're experimenting, and I just took the fresh approach on him. And I thought if that doesn't work, we can increase his work. Now all we have to do is mark time into the Cox Plate. He's hit form just at the right time, and look, he did the big job there. He off a slow tempo, gave him a start, travelled wide, and a beating. So it was a good effort.
Good effort. I mean, no doubt you were fairly confident he was going to perform well, but has he exceeded expectations?
No, I think he's been racing in the Olympics. And he's back in the national championships now, so people just don't understand how good they are over there.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, he wasn't too far behind Golden Horn, the Arc de Triomphe winner, at his most recent outing before today. Did that give you that much confidence because of what you saw Golden Horn go on to do?
Yeah, absolutely. He got flattened by Golden Horn and should have finished very close to him. And, he would be back caviar odds, Golden Horn, if he ran in something here. So, he tested Golden Horn and he was fantastic. He's actually done a lot of work in Golden Horn string. And John Gosden, I just need to say thank you how much they helped us with the horse there. His team was Australia. You just got to look at his skin. He's ahead of them. And instead of having a winter in the cold here, he's been just ticking along, been played with and babied, and it's really, really suited him. And I knew the two...
Globetrotter, what a win and great ride by Michael Walker. It's great to see him get another Group 1. We know what a talent he was as a young rider, this son of Sebring Criterion. Gee, I'm glad they didn't retire him, and he'll go to stud eventually. He's at $7.50. Happy Trail, so honest and brave as always. Mongolian Khan says, back me when I get back to a handicap in a cups very shortly. There's all the sectional times, 33.77. Sitting second last, Criterion and Happy Trails. Mongolian Khan, I thought was fantastic considering it was on speed. The others were back and swooping around. A quick chat to the beaten jockeys and then...
Yeah, he's a little bit unlucky. He got shuffled back at a crucial time just approaching the turn and once we got onto the clear, he hit the line really strong.
Right on track for next week?
Yeah, he'd be really hard to beat, you think, on that run. Yeah, look, he ran super. First time he's probably had a crack at him this prep and travelled up good, give a good kick. The winner was too good, but he'll thrive a lot from that run. Should be able to beat the Costic.
You know what you've done? You've turned the mindset of decades and decades of how we go about our business, how we train horses, how we prepare them, we rest them, we build them up in distance, we spell them, come back for the next carnival. And a lot of the overseas mentality in recent years has been to, with the good horses, they cherry pick their way around the world, don't they? They keep them in constant work and constant motion, and you've sort of...
Really, and they run, you look at the honour board out of the quarantine station, it's pretty good.
David, he's running... This is a phenomenal horse. As a 2-year-old, he won a Black Opal.
Yes.
As a 5-year-old stallion, he's winning weight for age Group 1 races.
And I'll tell you, don't take him lightly in the Melbourne Cup. He's got a great base on him. He relaxes. He finished better than anything yesterday, first up in 2 months.
Yeah.
And Sir Owen Glenn's very keen to go. I wouldn't let him run him unless I thought he'd run well.
We'll keep a good clean out in your...
Unless I thought he'd run well.
We'll keep a good clean out in your Melbourne Cup. He's just right on song for you.
He just reminds me of Jean. He looks like him, he acts like him, and he's got his at Goodwood, and he just nearly beat a champion. So they'll have to be respected.
Yeah, that's right. But we won't know, will we? They'll jump out of quarantine on the morning of the race, and out they'll go. That's the Cox Plate. Here's the $6 a field now. Mongolian Khan is a short price favourite. The Japanese... I
think, he got a bit of a negative ride, although the winner was just in front of him, and he maybe have something still left up the sleeve for grand final day, because it is Waller next to his name, and a drier track maybe... could be a wetter track could be to his advantage.
I think you're exactly right there. You look at Kermadec coming to the outside, he's got his head on the side, so's Contributor, and I think both of those probably looking for a softer going there. But there's good pace in this race, and enough pace allowed the horses that sat at the back to get into the race late. Look, he ran... got beaten about 5 lengths in the Juddmonte Criterion back in August, and that's probably at the highest level in the world. So... went into quarantine his first up here today, and David's done a fantastic job with him. We know how good he is when he's on his day here, and against these horses, just too good. But the second horse I thought went excellently again for a second up run. maybe it's his third up run. I can't remember how many runs he's had, but it looks like he's just getting fit.
Happy Trails.
Old Happy Trails.
He's had more than second up.
Yeah, well, I know he's had a few runs, but to my eye, he just looked like he'll have him right for something. And well, Mongolian Khan, what a good run that was. That was a Caulfield Cup run. Is that where he's going?
Oh, for sure. Look, I thought his was the best run in the race. He was just left a bit flat-footed when they sprinted around him here, and you've got to love the last piece of his work, Mongolian Khan. He's just ticking along beautifully for next week. And he handles all types of conditions. The extra distance will suit him. He'll be on a backup. Boy, he'll be Australasia's best hope in this Caulfield Cup next week. There's no doubt about that.
And Pornichet over-raced a little.
Heard David Hayes say yesterday the criterion, like, he dodged a whole winter. So he's been over in Europe in the summer and back here for a spring. Yep. And look, he's like the Red Cadeau of Australia. You know, like he's.
And David did make the point. He said, look, I think his quote was, he's been racing at the Olympics, and this is back in the national championships.
And has he been in work for 18 months?
Yeah, he has.
He's been in quarantine and he's travelled a bit, but
they're trying to go to the Melbourne Cup with him. It'll be interesting because he's only been, he's won a derby and he's never been tried over further. Why not? He's got a bit of a saintly feel about him, hasn't he? Faulkner, maybe he's not. Maybe he's just a chaser, Faulkner.
That was disappointing, I thought, from Faulkner.
But he was ridden on the speed yesterday. His best runs are when he's coming at them. But you'd have to say disappointing.
Yeah, yesterday he was.
Today, but if he gets a good barrier...
Look at that. Cup. 460 now for the Caulfield Cup. Now they're
well, that's too short.
Raving about these Japanese horses. Fame Game $8, Haraki 8 and Set Square 8, but he's into $4.60 favourite.
Was it great? First race of the day. We expected that from the betting perspective. Disposition is the favourite. We just took another $10,000 on Disposition at the $4.80 mark, so it's there. It's just come into $4.60 off the back of that bet. Lucky Hustler $6.50 into 5. Stratum Star for the first time has drifted from $7 to $7.50. It's been very solid at that mark.
The field here for the David Jones NBCF at Toorak handicap, Group 1 handicap, worth $400,000. Into the mounting yard we go. $400,000. Can Rob Heathcote do what he did with Souls and Itzen on 2 occasions? Can he win with Hofgarden? We just heard from him. And
they're off. And looked a pretty good sort of a start too. And Stratum Star down towards the inside, and Hopgarden, 9th Legion, and Moon over Manhattan, the first quartet. Just behind them is Kenjawood pressing on, and Strawberry Boy from the outside coming over. Disposition just off the speed. Jack and Obey went forward, and Lucky Hustler about midfield the rail. Now Strawberry Boy taken to the lead by Cassidy from an outside barrier, and he leads by a length and a half. Kenjawood second, Moon over Manhattan third, Jack and Obey is fourth, and they're followed by Stratum Star, 9th Legion on the rails, being followed by Libaz, a length to Disposition, a pretty good placing, followed then by High World. Over on the rails is Hopgarden ahead of Lucky Hustler, Noble Protector, and taking off Rhythm Despair. Abide With Me is well back by the 800 metres along the rails, followed by Akavur and Flamingo Star, and Pacini, who didn't jump well, is at the end of the field, and Niggled. Coming down the side, Strawberry Boy led by about a half a length at the 600 metres. Kenjawood second, Jack and Obey deeper out as third. They're followed Stratum Star, Moon over Manhattan, hard ridden the rail, followed by 9th Legion. Libaz, Disposition just held up a little bit from High World, and Lucky Hustler coming wide with Hopgarden playing for luck on the rail. Strawberry Boy leads and kicks a length in front round the turn to Kenjawood. Stratum Star, Disposition in the clear, starting to come, and Lucky Hustler right down the outside. Stratum Star hit the front, Disposition claims it, and now Lucky Hustler. Disposition and Lucky Hustler with Stratum Star, but it's Lucky Hustler who's full of running, hits the front, draws away. Lucky Hustler scores by a length. Disposition and Stratum Star in a photo for the Miners. Then 9th Legion followed Abide With Me, who made ground the inside. Flamingo Star got home, and Jack and Obey. Pacini made ground from Hopgarden. Strawberry Boy followed by Libaz, Akavur and Kenjawood. High World followed by Rhythm Despair, Moon over Manhattan, and Noble Protector, one of the last in.
Glenn Boss, outstanding horsemanship to get Lucky Hustler home and take out the David Jones NBCF Toorak handicap under the top weight of 58 kilos. He was luckless in the Sarupa Clark. He was brilliant today, a big winner. And the Sarupa Clark
up here. And Glenn, before the race, I could just tell, I could see you were just in the zone. You were that confident here.
Yeah, that was pretty easy, Sammy. The writing was on the wall. Like he's a very good horse, and you know, at weight
he was the winner. You know, like he had no luck the other day, and he's meeting them all better at weights.
He got into a bit of a bustling duel on the corner too, so to the horse's credit, he stuck it out great. Great effort by everyone.
Hasn't he had an extraordinary 6 months to win a William Reid at Weight for Age back in the Autumn Carnival, come back and win one of the most prestigious handicap races over a mile? He's a pretty special horse.
Yeah, he's a special horse, all right. Yeah, like you said, to be able to win a 1200 to a mile, he had a few little quirks early days, just he used to work against you, but the beach fixed that up and now he works with you, and it's just a huge thrill.
Was that just a masterful training performance? Last year you won the Sarupa Clark and the Toorak with the one-horse Trust in August. This year you've won the same 2 races, 2 different horses. Your other bloke, Stratum Stars, run enormous as well.
Yeah, he ran great.
Who made ground the
Well, the 3 key runners through the Sarupa Clark run 1, 2, 3. Most people get the trifecta. It looked obvious on paper, and it ran perfectly to plan. Darren Weir goes back-to-back in this race, and he was an eye-catcher from the rear of the field. Flamingo Star was an eye-catcher as well, another one that got back and ran on. Disposition, Lee and Anthony Friedman just miss out on the Group 1 there, run second, did a good job. Let's hear from a couple of the... Well, he's carried 58 kilos, and he's a Weight for Age 1200 metre Group 1 winner. He's a serious horse, Lucky Hustler.
He's a dead-set serious horse, isn't he?
At the back of the field there in the Toorak, and just in front of him is Stratum Star and Disposition. They're all at about the same part of the track there, and big Group 1 handicap over the 1600 metres. There was enough pace in this race, and Strawberry Boy led him along there. He led him along at a good bat, and they all had good runs. They probably all struck a little bit of traffic on the corner here, and Lucky Hustler copped a fair bump on the corner. Disposition, you can just see him there steadying off the heels of Stratum Star, trying to get around him. Stratum Star gets into the right slot here. Disposition comes around his heels, and there's Lucky Hustler, the winner, just getting into clear space now, and he zips home. He's too strong for them over the last 200 metres.
I thought he was suspect at a mile, but wow, that's a big win. I know he rode him beautifully, but I thought on the point of the turn there, when he got into that little battle, 2-horse war with High World, I thought you're not going to finish off with your top weight here after getting involved in that. Yeah, look, big job by Darren Weir. This horse is obviously underrated, and that is an enormous win. Do you reckon there was a run in this race? Flamingo Star.
I'm going to highlight.
Oh, are you there?
I knew there'd be a highlight. I knew. You know why? That's exactly why I never mention it, because if he didn't get that, if he didn't spot that and halo that, he was going to be sacked off the show.
Sacked.
So
I got 2 of them. I got 2.
All right, take us to the highlight.
Now, there's Puccini, who refused to jump out of the gates.
You follow Puccini.
And you just... I know he's a trickster, but...
You only need to halo one here.
But what did Miss Gunpowder out to from $5.50 to $7, and Stay With Me from $4.50 in early markets out to $7.50. Jamaica has support. It's into $9. Not much happening in the double figure odds. And the Caulfield Guineas
win the 1,000 guineas, go on to the Wakeful, and then of course have a crack at the Oaks. Will we see the Oaks winner today, or is the Oaks winner sitting at home? Is it a filly like Sacred Eye or Ambience for the Godolphin team? The girl as a 2-year-old was a quality animal, but can she transfer that into 3-year-olds and get a strong mile as a 3-year-old? She showed.
All in. Set for the 1,000 guineas.
Right, clear.
They're off. Payroll jump fast down on the inside. Stay With Me, the slowest to move, and she doesn't muster and goes out the back in company with Jamaica. And as they jump into stride, Pasadena Girl is midfield, and settling in front is Take Pride. Has the lead by almost a length here to Miss Gunpowder, who's worked across into second, a length and a half on Butterweir. Super Cash getting a good trail as 4th on the inside, and they're 2 lengths clear. Payroll around the middle of the field on the inside of Alaskan Rose, and a further 2 lengths to Saga on Pasadena Girl. Being followed then by Stay With Me, Jamaica second last, and Don't Doubt Marley last by the 1,000 metres. Running it pretty solidly now, and Miss Gunpowder had taken, or rather out in front, Take Pride, lead by about 4 lengths to Miss Gunpowder and 4 lengths to Butterweir. 800 left to go, and they're followed by Super Cash, Alaskan Rose. Payroll back on the inside, and then Pasadena Girl commencing a move wide from Sagaron. A length and a half further back is Stay With Me, Jamaica second last, Don't Doubt Marley last. Below the 600, Take Pride still going going quickly, led by 4 lengths. Second is Miss Gunsmoke as they sweep towards the home turn. Miss Gunpowder, and taking off round the outside is Butterweir. Pasadena Girl pulls out wide. Super Cash saving ground on the inside. Jamaica the deepest runner. Take Pride the leader. She's got to be out of tickets. Running on Butterweir down the outside with Miss Gunpowder. Now getting through is Stay With Me, and Jamaica on the outside. Stay With Me and Butterweir race up now with about 100 metres to go. Stay With Me takes the lead. Jamaica starting to storm home on the outside, but in front Stay With Me, and Stay With Me beat Jamaica a length and a half. Butterweir in third. Pasadena Girl and Take Pride in a photo for fourth ahead of Sagaron. Then came Miss Gunpowder, followed back behind those to finish in the race by Super Cash. Well back is Payroll, and last to finish, or second last, Alaskan Rose, and last home Don't Doubt Marley.
That was a 20 out of 10 ride by Dwayne Dunn on Stay With Me. She was slow to begin. He saved ground back towards the inside, hooked out at the top of the straight, and this outstanding filly has powered away for a comprehensive victory, emulating what her mother Miss Finland did in this race a few seasons back. Good performance by Jamaica, closing in strongly for second, and it looks as if
doing what her mother did, Miss Finland, can win the 1,000 guineas today. And she gave you bombed the start. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, she just jumped straight in the air at the start, and when you ride for David, you know the rules and you know the instructions, so I just had to bite my tongue and just go back inside and ride for luck. And we know how good she is, and I just need to switch her off, which she did today. Mid-race she got on the bridle a little bit, but full class came out. You know, her mother was a superstar, and she's very, very good.
We've seen this track play, well, as we've got into the day, jockeys are looking to get out away from the fence, but you trucked up inside them?
Yeah, I didn't have many options but to do that, but I'm like you, Sam. I walk a lot of tracks, and it doesn't seem like that inside should be off as bad as what it is, but when I got to the middle of the track down the home straight, the leader was always going to compound and, you know, class rose to the top.
And she'll keep improving for you?
Co-trainer David Hayes.
David, many congratulations. You said to me as she was heading towards the Guineas prelude that she was starting to look a lot like her mum. Her mannerisms were very much like Miss Finland. Well, she's certainly come out and emulated her mum today.
Yeah, she has. I was critical of Dwayne 2 weeks ago, but gee, I'm thrilled with the way he rode it today. It was just a brilliant ride on a brilliant filly. Like, she's the best bred filly in Australia, and I said earlier, I think she's probably the best filly too now.
Well, she jumped out up for fourth.
Brilliant win. I think it was the 5th win for Lindsay Park Racing in the race. Mum did it back in 2006, Miss Finland. This is a filly by Street Cry. And great to have another Group 1 win for Tom Dabney, the 4th in his young career, and she's a sectional star out of the race. Jamaica was huge, also wide. They were 2 to follow out of the race. Where will they go next? Well, let's hear from the beaten jockeys, and then we'll find out exactly where Stay With Me will go next. Only a couple of starts ago, she broke her maiden when she won at Pakenham. She's a serious horse. Let's hear from the beaten jockeys.
Yeah, she ran well. We rode a little bit quiet today. She hit the line good. The winner got the inside brakes. We had to come round him, but I think she'd be more of an Oaks filly. She sort of grounds the line nicely, like she'll get further.
She was a little bit... and she's pulled up really well, so we're going to have a bit of a think about her this week, which way we go, but she's lovely and sound. I'd never risk her.
Yeah.
And she's destined to be running at Flemington.
Well, you said that actually in the post-race interview. I deliberately didn't put her in the Cox Plate so I wouldn't tempt myself.
I've been probably running the way she's pulled up.
Yeah.
She's just in that part.
Here's Ambience and Stay With Me. False favourite, Dave?
Look, she's probably, to use Wallace, she's about a 20% chance of running, I'd say. Okay. So I wouldn't be tumbling into her. But if she does run, you can be sure that we think she can win. I won't run her unless we think we can win. You've got their profiles are more staying. And
she's a beautifully bred filly. She's a beautiful looking filly, and she's been beautifully handled, and it was a beautiful ride. He just snuck up here once she missed the kick. He never panicked. He just waited till that gap, and look at that. Just peeled across their heels in clear space, momentum up, all over.
It was a good ride, wasn't it? After missing the start, he kept his cool, and then everything just fell into place. I'm with you. Both these first and second fillies are very, very good, and so is Pasadena Girl, mind you. But Stay With Me and Jamaica, they have to learn to settle a little bit better. They were dragged back there. They were given every opportunity to settle off a solid speed, and they didn't. You don't need to see that on an Oaks campaign or even a Wakeful, you know, getting up to 2,000 metres. They're very high class, but race smarts is another thing.
Pasadena Girl, don't write her off. Hugh got caught 3 and 4 deep on her, and she was finishing off probably as well as anything else in the race. And I don't know what Peter Moody's.
Yeah, look, I don't know. They're a good bunch, an even bunch. That Sacred Eye looks a strong stayer. Jamaica's got class, so to say, with me, but can they settle in the 2,500 of the Oaks? Sometimes you don't. The class can win an Oaks. Ambience loved her.
Look at the market for the big one. The Group 1 Caulfield Guineas, and it's a clear statement from the punters, because you're either with Press Statement or you're against it, because he dominates the betting, but just holding the price at $2.90 now, so out from $2.70. But everything else is drifting as well, except maybe there's a little bit of money for Bassett. Got out to $13, back into 10. We took $4,000 at the 11, and Bon Oram has steadily come in from $15 in early markets, in bit by bit into 10, and then the other two, Dalcello and Tulsa, have held their price. Tarzino at 17. Nothing much happening for Lizard Island.
This afternoon, it's at 10.55, so it's only marginally firmer than what it was at 6 a.m. this morning. Still significantly softer, or a touch more give, than what we saw Underwood Stakes meeting.
Yeah, that really would surprise a lot of punters who are sitting at home, the way that the track is playing. I think normally the default position on Caulfield's Guineas Day.
Everything. Which includes working left-handed to get him used to Caulfield today.
Rise the Kiwi galloper.
$1 million bet Caulfield Guineas about to go. They're set. They're ready now. They're off and racing. And Press Statement jumps evenly towards the outside. Lizard Island, one of the first to show, ready for victory. Bassett, Kentucky Fly got away well. Press Statement on the move after 200 metres. He's up there with the leading horses. Bon Oram's not far away either. As they settle down, they climb up the hill now, ready for victory, being headed off on the outside by Press Statement, who's taken up the running now. In second placing, moving up, is Kentucky Flyer, and ready for victory. A bit keen third on the inside. Bassett's got over into a good spot. He's fourth. A length and a half to Bon Oram, Dalcello, Lizard Island. A length and a half to Regis, and they're being followed then by Sovereign Nation. Midfield on the inside of Snoopy. Then came More Than Most, who's out a little bit deep there, being followed by Tulsa and Tarzino. Shards as well back with Odyssey Moon. Last Bullet is last, coming up the side, and the leader is Press Statement. He's slowed up the tempo a little, led by 3/4 Kentucky Flyer, ready for victory, and Bassett is fourth. Bon Oram's been deep, 600 metres left to go. They're followed Dalcello, Lizard Island back on the inside, followed by Regis. Around the outside, then running on was More Than Most as they came to the home turn. Sovereign Nation has held up, and then Snoopy and Odyssey Moon as they swing around the turn. Now the favourite, Press Statement, first for the judge. Running on, Bassett on the outside, followed ready for victory. Bon Oram further back in the field, then getting up along the inside was Lizard Island. It's Press Statement in front. Bowman's pulled the whip. Press Statement leads from Bassett, ready for victory, and Lizard Island along the inside, but Press Statement is clear. The favourite goes virtually all. Press Statement wins it brilliantly from Lizard Island, ready for victory, and Sovereign Nation got home for fourth ahead of Regis. They followed Tarzino, who made late ground, followed in by Bassett, and next was Tulsa. Dalcello, Bon Oram weak, and Snoopy next over, followed by Shards. Then Last Bullet, followed further back by More Than Most. Odyssey Moon towards the tail end, and Kentucky Flyer dropped out a bad last.
An outstanding colt. Press Statement giving Hugh Bowman and Chris Waller their first bet Caulfield Guineas, and what a ride it was by this master jockey, getting his third winner here for the day. An outstanding victory over Lizard Island, who's charged late up hard against the inside rail to grab second. He'll come on again from that. And
he walks into the mounting yard. He just has such a presence about him. He's a star.
He's a star in the making. There's no doubt about it. And to just go out there and take the field up like that today, it wasn't the plan. But I got caught being indecisive on Pasadena Girl in the last race, and I went inside and gave myself a good dressing down, and I said, I better get my act together and start making decisions. And this is a serious colt. He was the best horse in the race, and although we had to ride him a little bit out of his comfort zone, his class came to fruition.
Tough speed. I'll have that early sectional for you shortly, which will marry up the times, of course. 1:11.3.
Best colt wins. He's worth a fortune now. The son of Hinchinbrook in the colours of the China Horse Club. $2.50 he started as the favourite. He drifted out a little bit. What a great achievement for Pat Hyland. He's 74 today. Happy birthday to you, Pat, this morning. $19. Lizard Island runs second in a Group 1 ready for... And there's all the sectional times. Tarzino was the eye-catcher from a Derby point of view. Got back, was entitled to run on. Ran into a lot of traffic and 22.64 the last 400 metres and 11.52. Sovereign Nation was terrific as well. They're at 11.56 last 200 metres. He made some stylish ground. Press Statement on speed had the audacity still to run 34.94 after working up the hill and going to the lead. We'll dissect all the great... your horse. Give us the perspective of how good Press Statement is, because I know you've got an opinion of Sovereign Nation.
Yeah, Press Statement was dominant yesterday, and he did it from the outside barrier. Probably raced against his trend and gave them a beating. But I thought former champion jockey, how good. You must have sat back in the Channel 7 commentary box just marvelling at how Hugh got there and then he dropped the pace and then he was willing just to go with the animal.
Well, I got excited, to be honest, because Hugh Bowman was going to ride this colt arrogant, like he was the best horse in the race, define the pattern of the day. And what he was able to do from the 1,000-metre mark was rest from the 8 to the 600. There was only about 7 lengths between these colts and geldings from the 600. So he stacked them up nicely across the railway side. And then when he allowed him just to wobble a little bit, his first run in Melbourne from Sydney leg, he allowed him to wobble a little bit, swap the whip through, and just stimulated the colt to be able to break away from them like he did when he won his last race there in Sydney. So he's got a lot of upside. Look, when you've got Kentucky Fly sitting outside you at the 600 and you've been able to get a couple of cheap sectionals, you know you're going to be tough to beat out there in front. Lizard Island was fantastic coming off his maiden win for Paddy Hyland. Were much suited with the gear change with the blinkers. And I thought Tarzino, he's definitely an eye-catcher. He was ridden stone cold. It was a good gallop for him because it wasn't a punishing gallop. He was able to pick his way through, just hit a brick wall.
Physically superior when you look at him to every other runner in the race. He's a big, strapping colt. And on straightening here, well, it was just a matter of he had enough in the tank, and he sure did. He kicked hard. There are probably, you can pull out a few good runs behind this one, and I think we're going to halo up a couple of runs behind, but just looking at the winner and concentrating on him, you can't really make excuses for anything behind him. Only pace could make excuses for some behind him, because when you make all in front, what do you do?
Well, on paper, prior to the first race, I think we had this one of the faster races of the day, but as the day unfolded and everyone was saying, you can't lead and win here today, you can't lead and win here today. And I think that's when Huey says, gotchas, I'm going forward now. And he just read the speed of the race. I'm sure he wouldn't have had intent to lead until they jumped. He jumped so well and he think, look at all these blokes easing back. No one wants to lead.
They're all looking at each other.
Now look, this is up the hill. Right, this is in history.
He's still not going hard.
Do it.
But they're still not going hard.
No, they're allowing him just to work up the hill.
They say, come on, come across. They're urging him. Look, they're necking their horses to let him go. They say, oh, you can't lead here today.
They're probably all happy that he was in front, thinking, oh, if you're in front, you can't win.
That's the end of Huey, they're saying.
Yeah, that's right. And look,
but this is the top of the hill. This is where he grabs a hold of him. You see him. He starts to come back to the second horse.
And no one attacked.
And that's what won him the race.
It's game over from here on in.
Yeah.
Geez, there was a run in this time.
Now, the one you're talking about is on the inside there in the blue and white colours of Mick Price.
He didn't halo him early enough. It happened from the start of the race.
Well,
he hasn't stopped getting knocked out from the mile.
OK, and the other one that I wanted to halo there was Sovereign Nation. I think Tarzino's with a better run, but they were both good runs. If you watch Sovereign Nation, he has to change direction a couple of times and works to the line well. And Tarzino, you can see him really starting to stretch the neck. Just the last 200 was really good.
Yeah, look, outside the winner, Tarzino was just unbelievable. He got knocked down from pillar to post from the start of the race to the 100-metre mark. It's
tracks, and his coat is absolutely glowing. He looks very, very fit, as he should be. So, number 1, Van Brew, certainly the pick of the yard. I thought Jadir, well, he's a grandson of an absolute superstar, Miesk. He's looking fantastic in his coat for Team Hawkes, number over 8. Then Devil Hawk, I thought he is the best I've seen him for a long
on its way to the barrier stalls. 2,000 metres, 3-year-olds in action, $500,000 in prize money up for grabs. It's 2 to 250 on track. As you said, it's been easy on fixed odds as well. So a bit of a...
He's been 9.50 out to 10, back into 7.
It's open, they're off and racing. Man of Choice left well off the inside. Jadir goes forward. Flying Achilles deep, but it's up into a forward position as well. Vanbra's moving around the field, followed by Devil Hawk. Then came Too Good to Refuse. Tatoosh a bit handy. They're walking early. Gold Ambition's gone down to behind it. And Harakal in the club colours is last. Jadir in front from Flying Achilles, and Tatoosh rolls up into third. Then Man of Choice, Vanbra back to fifth, followed by Gold Ambition, Devil Hawk the outside. Then I'm Bellucci, Too Good to Refuse, and Harakal is the last one. 1,000 metres out, Jadir in front. It's been a soft lead, and Tatoosh has finally rolled up into second. This is the closest he's ever been, Tatoosh, and he's stalking the leader down the side of the course. Then Man of Choice on the inside of Flying Achilles. Further back to Gold Ambition. Vanbra getting shuffled back. Devil Hawk makes its move. It pulls to the outside and gets going. So Vanbra's been shuffled back to third last from Harakal. And I'm Bellucci's back last of all as Devil Hawk goes on with it. Puts his neck in front from Jadir at the 600 metres. Then Flying Achilles to Touche. Man of Choice back on the inside. Further back to Too Good to Refuse from Gold Ambition. Vanbra's back to third last on the turn, but pulling to the outside on the spring champion around the corner. Devil Hawk on the outside of Jadir and Flying Achilles, followed then by Too Good to Refuse making its move, and now Vanbra is charging up on the outside of the course. Too Good to Refuse for Queensland hits the lead. Vanbra giving chase. Then Devil Hawk back on the inside. Jadir showing a bit of a kick. Too Good to Refuse and Vanbra going stride for stride. Vanbra the outside puts his head in front now, and Vanbra starting to edge clear in the Spring Champion Stakes. Man of Choice grabs second. Third goes to I'm Bellucci in front of the stablemate Too Good to Refuse, and Harakal doing its best work late. Then Jadir from Devil Hawk. Further back to Touche, Gold Ambition, and Flying Achilles was last in.
The favourite wins. Vanbra wins the Spring Champion Stakes. Another Group 1 win for Chris Waller, and another one this season for Glenn Schofield. But, Duff, it wasn't all going to plan at all.
It was early. You thought, oh, great initiative by Schofield, getting that horse forward in a slowly run race, and then Flying Achilles come back in his lap, and then he got shuffled back in the ruck. You thought he's in all sorts of trouble, but his class prevailed in the finish there, and all's well that ended well. He's a nice horse and got the job done.
To being competitive at Group 1 company, and he's franked that today.
Yeah. And he got going late in the prep.
Yeah, well, terrific performance. What does he do next? Does he come towards the Derby? We'll chat about that shortly. I don't know the quality around, but another Group 1 to Glenn Schofield and Chris Waller. That's actually third Group 1 for the...
He's quite honest on the inside, but he's the winner. He's the son of Encosta de Lago. He's retired as a stallion now, and you know, that was, I think that might have just been his grand final there yesterday. But
what do you reckon, Dave? Did that look like a...
You got towards the Derby then if you're hoping...
They got sacked on your show.
Sovereign Nation. Oh, yes. I'll tell David Gately that you're not happy with him. He'll have a little smile.
He got up onto heels and over-raced there, and things just weren't going to plan perfectly, 100%.
No, they weren't. Well, early you would have thought, oh, that's great initiative by Schofield. He's got this horse. No, just nearly switched off in the 1-1. And then the horse in front of him steadied up and the pace slowed, and it all turned nasty for him. He got shuffled back, he was climbing hills, and in his effort to pick himself back up here, he gets to the outside Vanbra, and he knuckles down like he's been doing it his past few runs. Whether he goes on to the Derby now, well, the market says that he's the ruling favourite. So, look, why not? If he's fit and going well, why not go to Melbourne? Look, this second horse, I'm Bellucci, he's a horse for the future. He was very, very good here, hitting the line like a real stayer. His stablemate Too Good to Refuse
in a moment.
It's only 6 runners, and the market's been, I guess, smashed by the scratching of Kinglike this morning. So most of the money was on Kinglike, and it appeared as though it was going to be a battle between Mogador and also Kina Ray. But Kina Ray now is starting to get backed into $2.30.
You've got to keep changing things and keep trying things. I like the...
They settle, they're away. And Kina Ray began fairly. Mogador missed the start by a couple of lengths. He goes back in the field. And the first one to bounce out was his stablemate Haptic, who lands with a narrow lead ahead of Raphael's Cat. Dark Steel is third and pushing up on the inside, Black Vanquish. They're followed then by Keen Array, and Mogador's gone back to be last, but only about 4 lengths is covering them. 800 left to go. Haptic led narrowly, Raphael's Cat. 2 lengths away, Black Vanquish. Dark Steel the outside, 1.5 lengths behind them, Keen Array, and Mogador a further 1.5 lengths away at the tail of the field. At the 600 metres, and Haptic by neck. On the outside running second is Raphael's Cat. Black Vanquish right behind them, and then Dark Steel. Keen Array patiently ridden by Lane. 3 lengths away. Now he eases out at the 400 metres, and Mogador's going to track him. Into the straight, Haptic narrowly. Raphael's Cat joining it. Dark Steel joins in. Now Keen Array comes on 4 wide, and Mogador's got his back. They come to the 200 metres. Raphael's Cat took the lead momentarily. Keen Array's on the scene, and Mogador's ready to let go. Keen Array moved to Raphael's Cat. Mogador battling strongly on the outside. Keen Array just in front. Keen Array from Mogador and Haptic, and Keen Array too good. Keen Array wins it. 1/2 length to Mogador. Haptic might hold third on the inside from Raphael's Cat. Then Dark Steel, and last in Black Vanquish.
Terrific win to Keen Array, and Damien Lane stalked the speed, got into the space that he wanted to be, and Craig Williams was just inside him and then ended up a length behind him, got on his back, and in the end the margin was 1/2 length to a long neck. He was too good. Keen Array, a nice sprint. Mogador, an eye catcher. I think he's a really promise of the 5, Raphael's Cat. Probably from that barrier number 1, so he'll be the first of the runners to come forward for the Caulfield Sprint. We had a dead heat in this race last year. It was a thrilling finish with Bell's Sprinter.
Lamosti the last one to move in. Ball of Muscle 360, Kuro's into 390, King like 410 on the tote. They're ready. 1,000 metres dash. Few of them shifting around. They're racing now. Kuro got a good start towards the outside. King like away with a fly. Rainer Fair jumped well today. He's up there, and so is Ball of Muscle. So a good battle through the first 200 metres. Ball of Muscle surges to the lead. Over a length now to Headwater, retaining his place on the inside with Rainer Fair on the outer. They're 2 lengths clear to King like, getting a nice trot into it. A clear choice, 5th the fence. 1 further back came Kuro Lamosti, and 2 lengths away was Last Day to the turn. Ball of Muscle about a neck clear to Rainer Fair. King like coming on about 4 wide. He's hanging off the turn though, and a clear choice pushed through. 3 away from the rail. Headwater waits. Kuro running up behind them, trying to find a way clear. He's got the room now. It's still Ball of Muscle at the 200 from a clear choice. Now Lamosti runs on. Kuro cramped and dropping out. King like out wider. Ball of Muscle being tackled by a clear choice. Lamosti with the white blinkers flying. A clear choice hit the front. Lamosti drives and made it really close. Lamosti drove it, a clear choice in a photo. Ball of Muscle third, then Rainer Fair. Last Day got home. Kuro next over. King like was second last in, and dropping out last Headwater.
This is tight. Lamosti has lunged right on the line, and a clear choice has kicked back. Nothing between the pair. We've got 3 Stokes. This is very, very tight. We had a dead heat in this race last year. We've gone very close. We may even get a dead heat this year. It's a dead heat. 2 years in a row, the Caulfield Sprint has produced a dead heat. That is unbelievable. A dead heat between 3 Lamosti and 7 Eclair Choice.
On 1, Dwayne Dunn and Dom Teneur.
Drove it, a clear choice in a photo. Ball of Muscle third, then Rainer Fair.
Dead heat, can you believe it? A dead heat again. Many will argue Lamosti should have won, was held up, but still Dom Teneur put a clear choice in the right spot, and he did the rest. Terrific performance by both of them. Ball of Muscle off the Group 1 placing runs third there. Lamosti was the eye catcher. She got back and just savaged the line. King like a disappointing for this, because it was a higher status. A stud deal has been done with Coolmore for an attack at the Coolmore. The more you look at that, you can't believe that she hasn't got up on the outside, but bang, right on the line of dead heat.
Philip Stokes, eh?
He's a freak. That'll tell us all the fallout from this, but D Dunn has big consequences as a result.
Let's have a chat here. Now watch King like in the lime colours in front. That's Kuro outside of Dwayne Dunn, and he's going to keep him nice and neat, wanting to push him across to the fence to follow a clear choice. And Clear Choice is getting a beautiful run. Headwater just back on the left of screen. Just got his head up. Ball of Muscle crossed him a little bit tight, and Glyn Schofield ended up getting a little bit of time. As we turn for home, you can see Rainer Trainer Fair dropping back in his lap. He's following a clear choice. Watch Dwayne Dunn push Kuro out here and look for a little bit of room. And you can see that a clear choice just wobbles off a little bit. That's where he fires in the protest and said that you came out and you hampered my line. OK, it was a valid crack at a protest. And you can see Lamosty, once she did get clear and get a momentum up and join a clear choice, it was fantastic. But the stewards deemed in the...
How good is, A, the chopper shot that we get, obviously with Seven being involved in racing.com, and also that jockey cam. That is brilliant. That's what the racing's all about.
That's the best footage I've ever seen. I actually grabbed my seat when I was watching it because you felt like you were on a bit of a ride, didn't you? A roller coaster ride. I actually felt the...
The replay while the protest hearing was going on, all it emphasised was the interference that was caused to Kuro. So that's led to a 10-meeting ban for Dwayne Dunn. Won't be able to ride Chautauqua on Friday night or Happy Trails.
Mosty, you'll see her back in the white, second last there. Now, she's inside Kuro there. I think it's Kuro there, yep, that she's just looking for a run, and I think she has to knock him over to get out. But she gets across their heels there. But in the meantime, we've got Ball of Muscle leading him up here. Here comes the South Australian horse. He's done a really good job. He's a sprinter in the make too, and Lamosty starts to rattle down the outside. Now, there was a protest after this race. For the life of me, I couldn't see what the protest was about. Well, clear choice was a length and a half clear, so it's all fair.
I think he was trying to take the pressure off himself because he caused that interference.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want the stewards to look at that interference because he got 10 meetings for that. And that's
the New Zealand Bloodstock Ethereal Stakes over 2,000 metres at Group 3 level. No doubt this will be a significant lead-up race for the Oaks, and the fillies certainly look in very good order as they parade.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the first try at 2,000 metres for the entire field. It's a different type of the way that they look.
Interesting thing with what we've seen with the evolution of this race since it's sort of...
And the Grey Flash, one of the first to jump with ambience towards the inside. Onesta first to jump with ambience towards the inside. Onesta's got away well. Benatine must have jumped too well because she's on the move towards the lead after saying they wanted to go back, and she's fired up in front. Benatine leads. Jazaba came across with her and is up second, and 2 lengths Onesta's third. They're followed then by Street Spun, settling Street Spun. Running third on the inside is Jazaba. Onesta gets a nice trail fourth, just behind a pretty strong tempo, and they're 2 to 3 lengths clear from the Grey Flash. Ambience next on the outside in the Godolphin Blue, followed by Born Magic, who's had a wide run all the way. Princess Aria on the rail, and they're being followed then by Dawn of Hope about to go, and behind her is behind those horses Dawny Perfect, and they're followed by a Little Loose. Le Grand Cru off the bit down on the inside, and well back is Zara Beale as they come to the home turn, and Wichita Woman coming around the bend, and Bannatyne in front of Street Spun. Nesta's produced the whip. Jazaba right behind them on the inside, followed by the Grey Flash. Ambient starting to run on. Dawny Perfect peeled the widest in the straight, and Bannatyne kicked by 2 on Esther. And on the outside, Ambient starting to close off well. Dawny Perfect starting to stoke up the middle of the track now. It's Bannatyne getting tied. Ambient and Onesta, and Dawny Perfect on their outside. 4 across the track. Dawny Perfect is finding the line strongly. Dawny Perfect hits the front, drew away. Dawny Perfect wins it well from Nesta. Ambience. Bannatyne ran fourth, and just behind those the Grey Flash and Princess Aria got home near the inside. Came Dawn of Hope, trailed further back by Jazaba after a hard run. Born Magic.
Connors and Jimmy Cassidy combined here with Dawny Perfect finishing too well for her rivals from off speed. She's let loose over the last 300 metres.
Last week made some sort of case, but I thought the others coming through stronger races. The other Sydney fillies, Onesta and Amber.
Certainly a spring when the Sydney horses arrive for the carnival. They're awfully hard to beat, led by a 25 to 1 pot.
Pumper, very simplistic. That's enough to win an Oaks, isn't it? And then half
100 metres is, once again, a very different pain threshold sign.
Yes, she came off a terrific run at Kembla Grange.
Etymology's got into the clear. Sacred Eye, the filly, power to the lead though late and drew away. Sacred Eye too good for Lizard Island and Etymology. Then getting home, get the picture to fourth from Al.
Oh, she's a terrific filly, and Damien Lane punches the air across the line. He won't be riding in the Oaks. The most excited man was Michael Walker, who was there cheering on Damien. He decided, of course, to give up the ride on this filly on Saturday to allow him to ride Criterion in the Cox Plate. and she's going to be the one to beat, Matt, you can imagine, from an Oaks point of view.
Well, the interesting thing yesterday is we had the back-to-back races, didn't we? Had the other 3-year-old fillies going around with Dawny Perfect and so on, and they just staggered up the straight. I mean, they're just plotters, really. I know they went hard in that race, and then you saw Sacred Eye come out and go bang against the Colts, and David Hayes walked past me after the race. He was talking to Dean Lester and wondering whether to go to the Wakeful or straight into the Oaks, and there was a mention about thinking that maybe we've got the fillies from the previous race covered in the Oaks, so she represents the class, you know, doesn't she, Sacred Eye?
Putting himself inside out to get away from it.
And with that,
he's got a very, very big opinion of her. Look, Lizard Island sitting second there. He over-raced a little bit early and got put up on the speed, and so his run was very good, Lizard Island. But the filly there in the purple colours, just coming to the outside in the nose roll there, she just holds around the corner, just keeps her a little balanced, lets her go here, and the rest of it is very, very good. I don't know how strong these colts are. I don't know whether he'll run her in the Oaks or the Derby. Probably the Oaks. It seems a gift for her, or she would seem to have a very strong hold on it. Lizard Island battled on there. It's hard to find excuses for anything else.
David and Tom obviously thought the boys aren't much chop, because he could have went to that ethereal, but he decides to take on the boys because she's better than them.
Yeah, it was worth $500,000 and a lot more money than the other race. And she's the one to beat in the Oaks, no doubt about it. She's looked like it all the way through. She's a strong staying filly, and look, she's way above average. You know, Lizard Island was terrific there. He was gallant in defeat. Good staying run from Get.
Or race 6, the David Jones Cup with Matty Campbell.
Well, Shane, maybe we sparked some of the punters into action with Stratum Star. We turned it out to $4.80 and we took a few bets, so back into $4.40. So it remains the favourite just. Took another big bet on Leebaz, another $10,000 on Leebaz, and that was at the Top Tote Plus, the top of the best three. The best of the three totes. I put my tongue back in. Leebaz.
Down on the inside, Stratum Star, one of the first to break. Leebaz got out well, and so did Fenway. Awesome Rock wider out. Thunder Lady began okay. She's just on the back of the speed at the moment. And Sadler's Lake into a nice trailing place, about 4 off the pace. Now Leebaz allowed to stride along course now, and Leebaz just a length in front. Fenway is second, 2 lengths to Stratum Star, having a good run. Awesome Rock fourth the outside, about a length and a half away. Thunder Lady on the inside of Sadler's Lake, and then 2 lengths to High Midnight. Dibiani about to go deep, and then Velox and Puccini now shuffle to last. 550 metres to go. Leebaz by a length. Fenway shown the whip at the moment, and Awesome Rock took off around her, and Stratum Stars got up on the inside. Fenway's dropping right out of it, gone, and to the home turn Dibiani's made a lightning dash right off the course. He's putting in a run. Awesome Rock, Stratum Star claimed the lead at the top of the straight from Leebaz. Sadler's Lake's in the clear. Dibiani ran off the track. Stratum Star at the 200 from Awesome Rock. Stratum Star about a length in front of Awesome Rock. Nothing else running on. Stratum Star over a length to Awesome Rock. A good battle for third, but Stratum Star on the back from Group 1. He's too good. Stratum Star beat Awesome Rock by a length. Leebaz bobbed and grabbed third ahead of Sadler's Lake. Then came Velox, Thunder Lady, Puccini. Next to finish in the race then was High Midnight. Dibiani took control, ran right off the track, ended up on the outside fence, and there'll be a story with Fenway. She stopped far too quickly and is a bad last.
He is such a reliable racehorse, Stratum Star, giving Darren Weir and Mark Sara the David Jones Cup in fine style under the big weight of 59 kilos. He travelled sweetly in the run. Presented at just a few moments ago, who does a lot of your form, and he also walks the tracks for you. He's become a very important part of your team.
Absolutely. Leebaz battled on well there, but he was no match for Stratum Star. This is his first win at 2,000 metres, Stratum Star. Always been classed up to a mile, but Darren's was confident that he'd run the 2,000 metres. He's having the preparation of his life, and I think he's going to go on to the McKinnon now.
Yeah. Look, good win, good ride, good horse. He'd only had one try at the 2,000 metres before. That was back in March in the Alistair Clark, and he was nutted out. So there was no evidence to say that he wouldn't run 2,000 metres, but he's a nice rider.
50 in market since we opened up on Wednesday has been solid. Another $25,000 bet on Under the Louvre in the last half an hour. So now into $2.45. Worthy Cause got out to $9, and we did take $5,000 and $10,000 on Worthy Cause. So back into $7.
Go for the William Hill Moonga Stakes. Group 3 over 1,400 metres. We start our mounting.
The Louvres jumps well from the outside. He eases back as you'd expect. Camayon's gone back to last of all, and his stablemate Vasca first out. Worthy Cause immediately challenging him, and they lead Stirling City. Coronation Shellen got over quickly into fourth placing. About 3.5 Camayon, a length and a half to Ullman. They're followed then by Under the Louvre, back second last on the inside of Charlie Boy. 700 metres to go, coming down the side, and Vasca the leader, a length clear. Second is Worthy Cause, a length and a half away is Stirling City. Coronation Shellen, 1.5 to Famous Seamus. Then came Satinum, about 5 or 6 lengths away from the lead. Rock Sturdy on the rail, and then Chivalry followed by Camayon and Ullman. Back behind those horses, Under the Louvre. He's going to play for luck here. Zara is sneaking inside runs, and Charlie Boy is last, coming around the turn now, and Vasca is the one to run down. He's a length and a half on Worthy Cause, Stirling City. Then Coronation Shellen, he's worked to the outside on the favourite. Gee, a lot to do though, and Vasca's going well at the 200. He's opened up 2 to 3 lengths to Worthy Cause. Now Under the Louvre is starting to stoke up. Vasca's getting a little tired, but he's got 3 lengths on Under the Louvre, flying home. Vasca hanging on, they hit the line. Vasca got in by a half a length to Under the Louvre. Coronation Shellen stayed on for third, and then Worthy Cause, followed by Rock Sturdy. Ullman made a little late ground from Famous Seamus, Satinum, and then Charlie Boy. Further back is Stirling City, who weakened. Next in Chivalry, and Camayon is last home.
Oh, Vasca continues on his rich vein of form for this campaign. The last start winner of the Group 2, Shannon. He now adds the Group 3 Moongar Stakes for James McDonald and John O'Shea. Straight to the front.
At Under the Louvre, who cut the corner there and had to push his way out to the middle of the track. OK, he runs home very well, and arguably he was unlucky again, but if you race that pattern, luck's going to play a big role in how many you win.
Well, one thing about that, I think I'm a big fan of Vasca, but when you've got, if you're on the 2 leaders and you've got 250 to 1 shots right behind you, 1 back and 1 out, 1 back, then you've got Famous Seamus 3 deep with 60 kilos covering. It's like NFL with American football, he had blockers everywhere.
Yeah. He was excellent, the favourite. That's just his racing pattern Under the Louvre, and he had a lot of work to do.
Well, so $9.50 into 7. Jessie Bell, $8.50 to 10, back into $9.50. Early money was for Solicit, 21s into 12s, and there's also been support for Slightly Sweet. So typically it is a difficult race. Best backed has been Hazard and Richo.
This is a Group 2 mares race, and David Gately, Amicus, is a Group 1 winner.
And
Typhoon Tracy, 5 out of the last.
They're off. La Passe, one of the first to bounce. Hazard got away quickly. Tycoon Tara's on the scene as well as they settled out, and Solicit going up, but Gregor's after 200 finds the lead. Solicit moves over to second by about a half a length. Hazard right in behind them, and Tycoon Tara fourth the outside. 2 further back is La Passe. Catkins next on the outside, 3 pairs away from the lead. A length and a half to Amicus, who finds herself 3 deep. Then Scarlet Billows, Slightly Sweet on the rail. Next is Sabatini, followed by Girl in Flight, and 2 lengths to Jessie Bell. 800 left to go. Gregor's led by about a next Solicit. 2 lengths away. Hazard box seating. Tycoon Tara fourth. 2 further back then is Catkins outside La Passe. Amicus caught out wide, no cover at all. Slightly Sweet on the rail, and Scarlet Billows between horses, followed by Sabatini. Then Girl in Flight and Jessie Bell up to the turn now, and Gregor's being joined by Solicit. A length and a half. Tycoon Tara. Hazard the rail. Catkins called on, and then La Passe. They sweep for home now. Sabatini a fair bit to do. Gregors has been headed by Solicit. Hazard trying to work clear. Then La Passe switching course. Catkins struggling only at the 200 metres now, and Solicit is driven to the lead from Tycoon Tara. Hazard just swapping everywhere trying to get properly clear, and La Passe coming up on the inside. Solicit tackled by La Passe. La Passe hit the front. La Passe blows Solicit right on the line. Third placing to Jessie Bell. Slightly Sweet got up on the rails, finished off well, followed by Hazard, Catkins, Gregors and Tycoon Tara. Then Scarlet Billows. Sabatini never travelled like a winner, and then Girl.
Well, she's done it again. A mare's feature race. La Passe's gone around at a massive price, and she's blown out her better favoured runners with a barnstorming finish. Michelle Payne, confidence up on the inside to get the mare home narrowly over Solicit. And Jessie Bell, but La Passe into the radar, but she's delivered in spades.
Yeah, she has.
Darren Weir says there's a lot of owners who are reluctant for me to put her on. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
One of the great track plotters, Michelle, isn't she? I watched, Weary's.
Hazard shifts out, shuts that run. She goes back with momentum. Beautiful hands and heels here. Watch Michelle. Take a breath.
Breathe in, girl.
Gregors, stay there. Jockey should be saying thank you very much. And Brett Abdullah was going, you beauty, I'm home, Ripper. You Ripper, you beauty. Where'd you bloody come from? I can't believe you picked me up on the inside. I've had everything covered, and you've let Michelle Payne up on the inside. Now, Michelle took a little bit of time off.
Old Catkins there starting to get up outside of there, and she has to go back to the rail, Michelle Payne here. Now, luckily Gregors there in the striped cap was getting tired, and the gap was very narrow, but Gregors was wobbling about a little bit, allowed La Passe to get up on the inside there, and Claim Solicit, who went very, very well first up here, and grabbed the lead. Look, she's been in flying form, La Passe, and keeps answering the call. And a very good mare, and Darren Weir had 3 winners on the day. An excellent day for him.
Yeah, it seems like she's been up forever, but she wins at 40 to 1 and blows everyone away, and then she runs in another stakes race here, up in class again. And it was very astute of Darren to sort of, after a mare's been split there, Catkins.
Maybe the firm tracks. In her older age, I think she might be just viewing the ground.
That's 2 in a row now. It's not like her.
Yeah.
It's not like her.
Yeah.
She's in the market.
4 weeks ago, Matt Stewart sat on this panel and said Mongolian Khan will win the Caulfield Cup. 3 weeks ago, he said you've got to stick with Mongolian Khan. 2 weeks ago, he said it is the horse to follow. And last week, he said it yet again. He arrives on set in a brand new suit.
Watch the good thing win. Gave Opie a wink straight to Southland to buy him a new suit.
The horse switched off beautifully for me, and at the 800 metre mark, I had the opportunity to peel out, and everything went to plan. I was giggling to myself across the top, and he had a heap of horse underneath me.
Yeah, before we watch the race, Matt touched on a great to the race.
From Magna Pell, and Mongolian Khan's gone up quickly. Here's Protectionist, and Mongolian Khan's hit the front around the home turn. A fair way from home. Mongolian Khan from our Ivanhoe. Then Magna Pell, set square. Back behind them, Gust of Wind. In the straight, our Ivanhoe after Magnolian Khan. Magnolian Khan a length, our Ivanhoe. Trip to Paris getting up on the inside. And who shot the Barman flying home? Magnolian Khan in front of our Ivanhoe. Trip to Paris driving up on the inside. Magnolian Khan in front though, and Magnolian Khan won the Caulfield Cup. Trip to Paris a terrific second. Our Ivanhoe's run third. Close for fourth. Gust of Wind is up there. Flying home. Fame Game a big
Gee, a long way out, wasn't he? Who was going to win? Mongolian Khan wins for Murray Baker. Opie Bossum close on 50 Group 1 wins to the New Zealand Star. Trip to Paris. Tommy Berry jumps off and says it'd be my absolute honour if I could ride at the Melbourne Cup, and the connections say no worries, you're booked. Our Ivanhoe, won't he be better suited to Flemington? He was terrific as well. And there's all the sectional times. Trip to Paris was an eye-catcher. Fame Game was an eye-catcher as well. Shuffled back. Snow Sky had limited room at a vital stage. We'll dissect all the action, and of course, right from the start, you've jumped well, and you must have been pleased even here that you're going to get a nice spot.
Yeah, I was. I walked the track with Brent Thompson. He said I've got to get my posse before the winning post, and I gave him a bit of a dig early, and I had looked to my outside and see how many I had coming across, and when I saw Gust of Wind in front of me, I thought I'll follow that into the race. It should take me a long way.
I'm actually very good with Manchurian, and I was there with Mr. Wolfen.
Look, good judges said there was no natural leader or speed in the race. We were looking for a jockey to be brave. That was Kieran McAvoy on set square. Right here, Opie, when they get across from the 18 to the 16 and roll up the hill the first time, we were talking about the space that you had between the front horse and around you and behind you with our Ivanhoe following you. Right here leading up to the 1400, you just had a beautiful spot in transit.
Yeah, and he was off the bit as well, and just lobbing, and it's not that often you get an uninterrupted run the whole race, especially in a big race like that. And
tell us about the railway side, the 1000 now where we see you. Pressure then mounts from the 800 to the 700. Murray spoke to you, the trainer Murray Baker, and said just pop out early. He's fit, he's got the right weight. What were your thoughts right there?
I wanted to get outside just so to take bad luck out of the equation really, and once I let him slide down the side there, he really came up underneath me, and I knew I had would be hard to beat from the turn.
So you've got Royal Descent that was stuck 3 wide. You've got Gust of Wind back inside you in the lime green in the pink cap, and you got Our Ivanhoe warming up outside you. Was it too good to be true? What was the feeling going through your hands when you crossed the 600 here, entering the straight?
It was too good to be true, but I didn't really want to go that soon. But I thought I had better get going a little bit when I heard the other horses coming up outside me.
How long's that straight at Caulfield, mate, when you hit the front at the top of the straight?
It seemed pretty long at the time, but every time I encouraged my horse with the stick, he kept giving me even more.
I guess the big question going forward is how much further can he go? How far can he stretch it? He's going to get a penalty for the Melbourne Cup. We've seen all these horses just behind him with hard luck stories, the Japanese Fame Game and, of course, Trip to Paris and Snow Sky. So the stage is now set for the bar to be raised for the ultimate challenge in the Melbourne Cup, isn't he? He's a dual Derby winner, Caulfield Cup winner. He will become an absolute great if he can fend off this irresistible wave. And we saw their trials yesterday behind you. How confident are you that he can go the 2 miles and then take on a re-handicap and fend off what was behind you and what you just saw in that replay that was behind you yesterday?
I think he'll definitely run the 2 miles. This is the way he relaxes and he gets into a nice rhythm and starts breathing perfectly for you. And just hope the handicapper doesn't re-handicap him too much.
His half-brother won a win.
More impressed with his run. He travelled really well for him in the run, and he usually drops a bit sometimes in his races, but he didn't do that today. A bit stiff at the top of the straight when the winner kind of got away from us, but, you know, the Melbourne Cup's his main aim, and he'll be one of the ones to beat now.
Really pleasing run. We were able to get into a good spot from an awkward barrier on the back of the favourite. Just popped out down the side, and he really tracked into the race well. Give me a good kick, and then I think he'll just take benefit from that run, and really looking forward to seeing him at the 2 mile.
She ran very well. She showed a lot of speed tactically from the gates. She was able to get a lovely run up on the speed. Really happy.
Held up around the home turn, but got clear after that, but just interrupted his momentum. Probably cost him a length or 2. I didn't feel I was going to trouble the first 2, but probably should have finished a length or 2 closer.
It was a very good run. He was in the gate a long time, was a little bit slow out. Travelled a little bit keen early on, and the pace wasn't run at a very fast tempo. But when he got his room in the straight, he finished off nicely. I thought
Opie win the Melbourne Cup as well as the Caulfield Cup. You're on the second favourite. Do we wait 11 o'clock on Monday now? We wait to find out as to what your penalty is. Let's assume a kilo. Let's just assume 1 kilo. You think he can win?
He's got to be in with a good chance, you think. Even a kilo would be ideal, but he wouldn't want to be weighted out of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Runs out of the race, folks. I thought Al Ivanhoe was terrific there yesterday. He will really appreciate Flemington over the 3,200 metres. I tell you what, Grand Marshal wasn't a bad run. He just got held up late. We know that Fame Game was terrific, who shot the Barmans on target. He was placed in the Cup last year, as we know. Snow Sky, Damien Oliver mentioned, he's just a critical stage where he's lost his momentum and got held up. And Gust of Wind, she was ridden just a little bit close yesterday with that lightweight of 51 kilos. She's much better when she draws a barrier and is just able to relax that first furlong. She's on target to run super.
And Hocko Brave was wide, and I wasn't disgraced either, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly right. And Fame, but
what about Ed Dunlop? He is saddled up now, the runner-up in 3 Melbourne Cups, runner-up in a Caulfield Cup, and runner-up in a Queen Elizabeth.
And Robert Trevor Jones said that, hey, don't leave him out of the Caulfield Cup. This horse has broke 22 in change. He's fresh and fast enough, and he ran to it. So believe once again what you see.
Hey, I've just peaked on his run about halfway down the straight, and those 2 raced away. Up on the inside there comes the English horse, and the Ascot Gold Cup winner. He's a 4,000-metre horse. Look at him finish off on the inside. Trip to Paris. It was an excellent run. They put a little space in Gust of Wind there, who ran OK, but then the couple of the ones coming down the outside, we'll have a look at them.
Well, Fame Game. He was just the talking point.
We're going to halo him,
wasn't he?
We're going to halo him.
Was really. We'll have a look at him here. No, well, he wouldn't have got fined for excessive use of the whip like he did last year, Zach Burton. Anyway, it was a pretty good trial. Look, best 3 rides, 1, 2, 3. No doubt about it. Beautiful ride by Boston. Just give his horse a rest, relaxed him, popped him off, when the pack started to emerge around him, and it was just pretty to watch.
It was, wasn't it?
Tommy Berry did nothing wrong on trip to Paris, saved all the ground on the rails, which may have been a little bit of an advantage yesterday. I didn't see too much coming down the middle there yesterday. And look, Ivanhoe was good. Probably wants the jar out of the track, which I'm sure they'll be all squealing for now. The water Flemington.
Well, it was very firm yesterday.
Oh, please, yeah.
Okay, now they had Pert, before we roll this, they had Purton into the stewards' room after this race. And then the questions were asked by Terry Bailey. In a matter of speaking, were you looking after it for the Melbourne Cup?
Just on that halo, he's in the red cap there that we haloed, and it was old Grand Marshal I put in the other one there because he ran very, very well yesterday for a horse that probably wasn't up to the class. But watch the red cap there, the near black horse in the red cap. He only gets across the heels of a few of them here. This is the bit you had to like. He just got home real hard.
Gee, I reckon who shot the barman went enormous again there. He made a long 900-metre run there and out wide and shuffled the widest runner on the turn. And like he was with Fame Game where Fame Game had saved that ground on the inside. He's flying that horse who shot the barman. He'll run well like he did last year in the Cup. Another one we can add to that long list of chances.
Hocko Bray. Europeans to come and other horses
we keep picking out the Cup runs. There's nothing wrong with the winner as well.
Oh, of course.
He relaxes like a 2-miler.
Well, I think one thing after the race too, he's just so relaxed. You saw Opie come back. He said, look, he's recovered instantly. He could have gone again. And he's got a no-nonsense. He's got lovely and relaxed. He puts himself there. He's tough. And the 2 miles is going to suit Mongolian Khan as much as any of them.
He won so well, he'd have to get a serious penalty.
Oh, probably half a kilo tops. Half a kilo tops and it'll be a wet track, won't it?
I think they'd rather cop the 2 million and a kilo anyway. So.
Oh, look, I never worry about horses getting a penalty out of the Caulfield Cup. They've proved to run pretty well, even with their penalty.
Well, it's still the best lead-up race. You can look at the Cox Plate, you can look at the McKinnon, I guess, but this is the best lead-up race.
In the stewards' room, when they questioned Zach Purton, the instructions were not to come wide, ride for luck, and
don't pull the whip.
And don't pull. And the questioning went on, and I think they are saying that we expect the same ride in the Melbourne Cup as well.
Yeah. Oh, look, he got the benefit of a doubt there.
He was clear. There was no action taken.
Look at that market. You cannot pot any one of those horses in that first page there. They're all looking strong. They're all looking strong. And I'm sure the next page you could pick a few out as well. So this is really shaping up as a very, very interesting race.
It is our greatest race, and that's why it's our greatest race, because it draws horses from all over the world, and the internationals like Mongolian Khan.
He's Australasian now, isn't he?
And the best of
won the main event of the day, the Geelong Cup, and behind the favourite Dandino, who's very solid indeed. Dandino at the $3.50 mark. Behind that, it's really an open race, and there's money for all the runners. Questionmore's out to $6 from its $5.50 opening quote. Now, money coming here for David Hayes' runner, because the Hayes stable, we know how good they're going. $17 into 10s now for Al Moonquith, so money for that. Orbeck.
Cup material, if not Melbourne Cup material, because he'll be eyeing that off in a couple of weeks or a week and a bit. So, yeah, I've got him on top. I think he could do the job. Dandino, our top selection. But Quest for More, the dark horse of the race in a way, he hasn't raced for about 3 months. Certainly a big question mark with him.
Yeah, Warren, how have you got... I mean, it's so hard to assess with internationals that you haven't seen race.
Up now, and a little engine a little bit slow to move out of the stalls. Quest for More got away well. Genuine Lad from out there, easing over their heels early. Away fast as Bonfire had the lead with Gardini and another grey Maygrove, and Kapoor out wider. Here's Don DeRimo and Sontag sailing up towards the front runners now. Orbeck went back. He's the middle of the field down to the judge. Don DeRimo has it. Sontag moved to second at the turn out of the straight. In behind those horses, Maygrove getting a nice trail on the outside of Bonfire, who's on the rail, and Kapoor caught wide, presses towards the lead. Quest for More's on its back, 3 deep, but does have some cover, and then Mandawi down on the inside getting a good trail about 3 pairs back from Gardini. Sartorius renew the outside, 1L Moonquith, and they're followed about 3 wide, but he does have some cover middle of the field, followed by Crafty Cruiser, Gardini, Dandino and Sartorius in a bunch of horses down on the inside. Further back in the field, Genuine Lad and Orbeck, and then Ethiopia and the Little Engine. Well, they really slowed down the back, and the field is bunched up. 800 left to go in the Cup, and Kapoor, the leader from Quest for More, and Renew moved up 3 wide. Don Dorimo behind the bell. Moonquith improving his place around the outside, followed by Sontag. Dandino starting to creep into it. Here he comes with a pretty good run, and then Crafty Cruiser, and the rest were headed as they sweep to the home turn by Maygrove around the bend, and about 3 or 4 of them across the track. Quest for More, Kapoor out wider on the track. El Moonquith wide out, has raced up and gone to the lead. Dandino's trying to follow him home down the outside. Kapoor is kicking back along the inside. It's El Moonquith the leader though at the 200. Dandino trying hard down the outside. El Moonquith about 2 lengths in front of Dandino. He holds him at bay safely, and El Moonquith will romp it in, scored by 2 lengths to Dandino. Great go for third. Maybe Mandawi from Grove, who's hit it together, the 2 Groves, and then the Little Engine who got home. Ethiopia made some ground, followed by Kapoor. Back behind those horses to one of the last in.
Well, he couldn't get a run in the Caulfield Cup. He went to the Metropolitan in search of a ticket into the Caulfield Cup. He had no luck at all from a wide gate, had to go back there. But James McDonald has jumped on board this former Dubai galloper for Sheikh Hamdan and Lindsay Park Racing. Spring, his name's David Hayes.
David, if memory serves me correct, in 2010, an entire son of Dynaformer won a Geelong Cup before a Melbourne Cup. Americain did it. Canal Moonquith.
He probably won it easier than Americain. Look, he's always threatened that he's very good. I've always said he's got the form of my Caulfield Cup winner, Torquay. He just keeps drawing the outside barrier, and through no fault of Michael Walker, we've been riding him cold. And we decided to ride him a bit closer today, and because he's fit, and he got the dream run. It was just a fantastic ride.
It certainly was.
I went, he just towed me there, so it wasn't too much knowledge. We didn't go into it, and I just said I was a nice pilot for the race.
Well, what impressed you the most then about his performance today?
He travelled really well, but the thing what impressed me the most was his turn of foot. When I let him go, he went very quick and sustained it right to the line, which very impressive. And
terrific performance also by Dandino. Darren Dance representing the owners here with number 2.
From everywhere, so it seems as though it's played very fairly.
It certainly has, and that tends to be the way, though, doesn't it, when the rail's in the true position here. You can really run on. It goes out to the 3 metre.
Rich Enough was 34 to 26, but Chautauqua's still the one they have to beat at the $2.40 mark, and you can have a bet in this race.
All the rage. Terra Vista easing slightly. 245, 657 for buffering, 850. Shwikandi should roll.
Joe Pride earlier on, and also Robert Smurden. So I think we've touched
because we're still taking bets, another couple of $10,000 and $5,000 bets at that $2.50 mark. Surprisingly for me, Terra Vista got out as far as $7 at one stage, back into $6.50. Buffering
will be the last one to get set for the Group 1 Manikato Stakes. They're all in the gates, set to run for the big one. They're off. Caught him in a good line, buffering, and Tiger Tease away very quickly, and also showing good speed just behind them, Rich Enough, but it's buffering for the time being, holding them out, and he leads narrowly with Rich Enough getting up to second. A length away is Tiger Tease. Alpha Misses fourth outside Terra Vista. 2 lengths for Candy, Fast and Rocking, and they're followed as they run the 800 turn to Rebel Dane. 2 or 3 Chautauqua. He's got back second last on the inside in company with Griante. He's now last actually, up the side and buffering the leader, but he hasn't been able to cross. Rich Enough has retained the inside, and they're 2.5 lengths. In third placing is Alpha Miss from Tiger Tease. Terra Vista getting a nice trail into the race, and then Shrikandi to the outside goes Rebel Dane. Fast and Rocking's held up, and then came Griante, and Chautauqua's going to need his big special run. He's last as they come to the turn. Buffering, doing it tough, but he loves it that way. He leads from Rich Enough, Alpha Miss. Here's Tiger Tease and Shrikandi around the outside. Now Chautauqua's got into the clear. Buffering the leader. Shrikandi
after him. Chautauqua coming on strongly. Srikandi hit the front. Chautauqua mows her down. Pounced, races away, and won like a champion. Won it by 2 lengths. Either Srikandi or Rebel Dane, with Fast and Rooking between them for the Miners, and then came Buffering, followed in by Terra Vista, and back behind those to finish Alpha Miss, Tiger Tease, Rich Enough, and Griante.
Ah, what a horse, what a ride, Tommy Berry. Tommy did not panic. Well, he missed the kick. We spoke to Wayne Hawkes before the race. He said there's 2 Chautauquas. He was last with 500 to go, yet Tommy Berry has still been able to stand in the irons, point to the skies to Nathan above, because he's nearly 2 lengths clear. That is how good this horse is.
He's exceptional. What a performance. I'm not so sure he was slow out or it was by design. I need another look at that one, Richo, but he was definitely a clear last. But he knew what he had underneath him, Tommy Berry. A cool ride. Rode him, swept around the outside, kept the powder dry and unleashed that blistering turn of foot.
By the Hawks team, and he's just a machine. He must tell us about the ride.
Oh, mate, like, I didn't expect to be that far back, but they ran, and John just said on the way out, he said, I don't want you on the fence, but if you are, just ride patient. And John's been trying to hammer into my head, just something goes wrong, just go to plan B. And I did that tonight. I followed Srikandi into the race and got out at the right time, and I can't thank the Hawks team enough. I've been right.
It was a super effort, you know. He was cool, calm, collected, he didn't panic. Even though certainly made him earn it, but that's what it's all about when you're the hot pot. But at the 700, I'm sure the quaddie punters were in a bit of strife. But when he come the corner and just pushed out, it was well, it's just a fantastic feeling, that's for sure.
Well, let's put it into perspective. He's beaten a quality field with a lot of Group 1 winners. 500 metres out, he's last. Yet he's been able to win where Tommy stands in the irons, and you've won by a couple of lengths. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, look, his record's pretty good. You know, it's always easy to stand here after you win the race and gloat and everything, but everyone knows his horse, and the only times he's really been beaten, to be fair, have been bad luck. And he had one shocking day at the first year of the championships at Randwick. He just went terrible, and we still never worked out why. He's only had one bad blemish in his career, and he's a super horse. He's the best sprinter I've ever touched, that's for sure.
OK, he heads now towards the...
Just as they come to the turn, Buffering doing it tough, but he loves it that way. He leads from Rich Enough, Alpha Miss. Here's Tiger Tease and Srikandi around the outside. Now Chautauqua's got into the clear. Buffering the leader. Srikandi after him. Chautauqua coming on strongly. Srikandi hit the front. Chautauqua mows her down. Pounced, races away, and won like a champion. Won it by 2 lengths. Either Srikandi or Rebel Dane.
Great call, Greg Miles. Won like a champion, and as I said to Wayne Hawkes after, it was really emotional after his win. I think that meant a lot to the connections. 500 metres out, the horse is last, yet he wins by 2 lengths with the jockey standing in the irons pointing to the sky. It was breathtaking.
He terrorises Wayne's emotions. I think that's what happened. This is a horse who, there's a sense of expectation because he's a great horse, but there's also a sense of heart in mouth and what the Houdini act he'll have to do, which he has to do every start. It's funny, isn't it? You know how people say that the most breathtaking thing in racing is a front-running champion like a Vo Rogue, or I reckon the opposite. I mean, I reckon people 70 or 80 years ago with Burnborough would have been, you know, amazed at this stucking and weaving and flashing.
Superimposing.
I think visually, the Chautauqua is a much more exciting proposition, because he has to get there from B to A virtually in reverse, doesn't he? Because he's going to be in so much trouble.
We look at the marquee sprinter. He is an unbelievable sprinter, and we just got a taste of that, and it should continue on through spring, I think. He's just the one to beat.
Well, he sets up versus Exosphere, and Terra Vista again, who's still very burly. Exosphere's the favourite over Chautauqua.
Well, he gets the 3-year-old weight, doesn't he?
Still.
But he's got to run in the Coolmore first, down the straight, Exosphere, and then they'll make the decision heading towards the Darley Classic. So she will get better. Her first up run there was fantastic.
She can't beat Chautauqua,
she will get fitter. She is
Can
the one.
she beat Chautauqua?
No, she can't. Not sitting on the old correct weight fence, mate. But she will get fitter, and she was terrific first up. It's great to see her come. Great to see her come back, because she's a high-class horse.
Yeah.
He's the most exciting horse in Australia. I mean, we talk up the Cox Plate. This is the most visually exciting horse because he's got to get there, doesn't he? He has to pull himself out of strife every time.
He looks like he's going to need a hell of a lot of luck.
I was a little concerned with him when he was back there, and they were You know, highballing up in front of you.
What did you think he was going to be?
Well, buffering, you knew he was going to kick hard on the corner, and I knew he was going to be back there, but I thought, oh, you poked up inside horses here. But once he got across their heels here, then you thought, oh, you're close enough now. He's only about 2.5 lengths off the leaders there. And there's Stracandy in the red just going up. She ran a great race, Stracandy, and Rebel Dane chasing him home. But look at this. I mean, he sits up. Tommy gives a wave about 3 strides before the post. He's, you know, it's... If it had been, the straight had been 100 metres longer, he'd have won by 5. It's just freaky.
He's a star. He's that race was all over once Rich Enough went forward and put that pressure on buffering. This race was all over. He relished that speed up front. All he had to do was get into the clear. He did it well, Tommy, and he was far too good. I thought Stracandy was fantastic as well.
She was fantastic.
She was first up. She did work. She's in a fast race, and she gutsed it out pretty well. What a clash this is going to be, Chautauqua, and if it gets that far, and Exosphere if he comes through.
We want him to win on Saturday and win brilliantly.
Yeah.
So
and we're set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last day of the...
You should have a look at Terra Vista here. This is him in that race. We just put the halo around him. He just runs into dead end, dead end, dead end. You would think he was in the right spot there, given the way the track raced the next day. Well, no, you look at him. He's just pushing up behind there, and I think that's Alpha Miss outside him, sort of just half shades him, and Rich Enough's sort of flopping up and down in front of him.
Under the whip.
Where would he have finished? Here, look, just this little bit. Look at that.
Run forward.
And then he's got to sit right up on him here. I mean, he should have run.
Reminiscent of last year, he had no luck and went on and won the Darley Classic. So ride him off at your peril.
Yeah, I agree.
Race 6 here at Moonee Valley, and there's been a complete flip-flop at the top. We mentioned on Get On that we're pretty happy to lay Prince of Penzance. We didn't think it'd be drifting this far, though, because all the money is for the United States. Once again, they backed it. It was $5 at one stage. I know we had the scratch of Let's Make a Deal, but it's now into $3.30. Prince of Penzance out to $6. Bondiga has...
that he is a Galileo, and a lot of those Galileos do tend to be free sweaters. So Highland Reel's another one, and it'll be really interesting to see the way Highland Reel handles their close proximity.
You had a lot of Melbourne Cup runners like Kings.
They're set and the gates are back. Bohemian Lily jumping well with Taiyu near the outside, and Precedence got out well, so did Descado towards the outer. Big Memory was showing speed along the inside, and Prince of Penzance is right up there today as they settle into stride and come up towards the turn, and the favourite has gone back and he's third last, the United States. Prince of Penzance taken to the lead by Michelle Payne, coming to the turn the first time, led by a little more gas into the race, and they go 3 lengths on Taiyu, 2 lengths Bondiga, about 3/4 Escado, a length and a half further back the United States, with Big Memory attending him on the outside, clear of Bold Sniper and Nick Precedence, and 2.5 to 3 lengths away Like a Carousel. Prince of Penzance coming up towards the turn at the 800, just over a length now. Bohemian Lily, Taiyu, Escado's deeper out now, and he's moved into 4th placing, followed by Bondiga. The United States still being ridden the patient race by Bowman, about 5 lengths away from the lead, on the rails from Big Memory, Precedence, Bold Sniper, and Like a Carousel. Prince of Penzance by the school, though, has opened up a couple of lengths on Bohemian Lily, who's flat out chasing. Bondiga's a length and a half away third. Now Bowman starts to work on the United States. He's starting to pick them off one by one. Prince of Penzance, the one to run down, though, comes to the home turn. 2 lengths in front of Bohemian Lily. Getting up on the inside now, the United States, about to throw out the challenge. Nothing else could win it. Prince of Penzance, 2.5 in front. The United States gets over a hills. Prince of Penzance by a length. United States has the last run, grabs the lead in the final stages, and the United States gets up to win 3/4 Prince of Penzance. 3 lengths Bohemian Lily. Bold Sniper ran 4th. Then came Like a Carousel. Oh, the rider of the Big Memories fallen just after passing the post. Don't know what happened there. Next in Taiyu, Precedence, Bondiga, and Escado is last to finish.
The United States has won the Moonee Valley Gold Cup in what could be track record time.
Certainly do, and it's a privilege to ride their horses, and they always come turned out in magnificent.
11 and 8 in course record time here. 2 minutes 34.43, eclipsing the previous course record of 2:35.58. So it's over a second quicker than what we've seen previously. That was an outstanding staying performance by the United States. Hugh Bowman just at his magnificent best, cutting ground.
AO first attempt at the 2,500 metres, breathtaking win. Look at the time, runs 2:34.43. The track record was 2:35.58, and superior stayer, great performance. What sort of penalty will he get into the Melbourne Cup?
Well, it's a bit confusing this morning, isn't it? Because Greg Carpenter yesterday talking about a 2 kilo penalty will put this horse on the fringe of getting in.
But his sustained gallop over the 700 metres in his last 3 runs have been terrific. So he just needed that cushy run in behind him. Prince of Penzance, a daring ride by Michelle Payne, a game ride on a fit horse that was set for the race, who'd won the race last year. Bohemian Lily worked up outside Michelle at the 1,000 metre mark and said, hey, you know, I don't mind rolling along and I'm fit too. And those two clapped it on. And it was a great tempo, real tough staying tempo. But it played into Hugh Bowman's hands on the United States as he just needed that slipstream, wait as long as I could. But Prince of Penzance made it mighty tough for him to reel him in. But it just goes to show the right race for that horse. It was a deserving win for the United States and the record too, as you mentioned.
And what did that remind?
Penzance, he set a pretty hot pace. They smashed the track record here in this race, and so he set a hot pace and he's kept going. And well, Huey just said, well, I'm not getting away from the fence here because that's where you need to be. So I'll just chase him up along the fence until I have to come around his heels, and the horse was good enough to do it. Now, he probably wants to go to the Melbourne Cup, but he's 9.5 kilos below weight for age.
He'd have to get a 3 kilo penalty.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
So then he has to run in the Lexus on Saturday and then back up at a Melbourne Cup. He just can't keep racing.
Not Lloyd's style.
No. You'd think it'd be beyond it. Very good run from her.
She won't recover from that.
Well, they've broken the track record by more than a second.
Yeah, but that's the pattern of the day. I know that.
Pasadena Girl holding its price at the $4.80, and Sovereign Nation was $5.50 to $7.50 yesterday, and it's still at that price now. Tally at $9, and then we've got Shards, which was 12 to 10s. A couple of races away from the Cox.
The 20-40 metres. What about that time? We have to keep adjusting.
Air Plastered did a great job to win the Derby. The runner-up that day got away with Murder in front and shot away, and he ran him down. He was a strong stayer, no doubt.
OK, we're going to catch up with a couple of...
Away they go. Jamaica jumped OK, just a little bit towards her left, but she's up there on the pace in the early part. Shard's got away well, and he's pounced straight on the lead in the early part. Red Alto's up there, and here's Last Bullet out deep on the course going forward. And Pasadena Girl is just behind the leading bunch as they settle into stride. Tarzino's gone right back. He's last at the bottom turn, and Shard shows the way. Last Bullet moving up into second. He's a bit keen, though. They're two. Then Hierarchal, and a length and a half to Tarzino. So Shard's is the leader, about to come off the back near the 800 metres. Just over a length to Last Bullet. 2 lengths away on the outside is Red Alto. On the fence, Jamaica is fourth, and then Sagaron, Pasadena Girl, 1.5 Sovereign Nation. A length and a half Kentucky Flyer, followed by Tally. Tarzino is next outside of Hierarchal by the 600 metres, and Shards still rolling along. He's got Last Bullet off the bit chasing him. So too Red Alto. Jamaica hard ridden by Oliver on the rails. Pasadena Girl trying to make some ground. Here's Sovereign Nation pulled to the outside. Shards went for home a long way out. He leads by 3 lengths. Jamaica railed the second ahead of Last Bullet. Pasadena Girl followed by Sovereign Nation. Shards with a long lead in the straight. He's 2 lengths. Jamaica now starting to wind up. Shards at the 100 metres being tackled by Jamaica. Shards 3/4. Jamaica gradually getting there. Took the lead late, and Jamaica too strong, too powerful. Won it from Shards. Photo third either Pasadena Girl or Tarzino, who finished it off beautifully. Tally next over, followed by Last Bullet, Sagaron, and then Red Alto. Sovereign Nation didn't finish his race off, nor did Hierarchal, never came into it. And the last to finish is Kentucky Flyer.
Oh, she deserved that victory, Jamaica. She's been so wonderfully consistent this campaign, but stepping up in trip and taking on the boys, she's delivered for Damien Oliver and Kieran Maher. Number 11, Jamaica, 4:30. And
into last start into the Guineas, and she looked better again today, and hopefully she'll be peaking in a week's time.
Have you always felt that she wants a
racing in probably higher grade races, but we really sort of targeted the Oaks for her, so...
Jamaica terrific en route towards an Oaks, and a clash with Sacred Eye. Can she defeat Sacred Eye? Great ride by Damien Oliver, played to the track. Shards booted clear, played to the track as well, but Tarzino was basically the only runner for the day to get back, circle the field, and still smash the clock late. He has Derby winner written all over him. Pasadena Girl, can she turn the tables on Jamaica. I think she'll find it hard to be able to beat that filly. Can that filly, Simon, defeat Sacred Island and Oaks?
Well, she needs just to relax a little bit, and she needs tempo on over 2,500 metres at Flemington. She still just likes to get on the bridle and just, you know, the 1%ers gets a little bit aggressive. Damien Oliver did a beautiful job in relaxing her yesterday, but at Flemington, if she over-races and there's no tempo early, that could bring her undone just a little bit there. That's the only slight knock I have on her. Still sticking with Sacred Eye. Thought Tully's run was terrific in the race. Follow him. Tarzino making ground, as we know, was super.
Yeah, wasn't he terrific?
Let's have a look at the overhead here, Matty. As you can see, it was a great ride by Shards. And I just think, you know, it was a daring ride because Mark Zahra early on My Popette set the scene up for tempo. The tempo's back in races at the Valley, wasn't it, when he took off on My Popette? And I think James McDonald, he knew that by race 7 to try and pinch a break. But Shards, I think, just suffered from a lack of a hit out in the Caulfield Guineas when he got severely henching Tarzino.
Such was the bias yesterday that Tarzino missed a top 2 finish, but how far superior was his run than anything else in that race?
Well, we keep talking about it, so we might as well just address it now. The way this track's played,
let's get this elephant in the room out of the room.
It's caused so much discussion on social media about the way, and for the smart punters out there, they just read it perfectly. Said, listen, you know, it's a great track to punt on because you question to the gun turf experts, why not just leave the rail in the true?
People don't like the little cribbing movements, do they? True from 3 on a quick backup. Simo, did you sort of go into this meeting go,
We've got the whole card to look at, and there's Tarzino. I mean, crunched into $2.50. I mean, it was just about the best. I mean, if Fame Game was the best Melbourne Cup trial you've ever seen, that's just about the best Derby trial you've ever seen.
Extra Choices Gallop on Wednesday was terrific.
Get the picture going. Well, it's getting close to the market.
Getting closer to the market, yeah. But as I mentioned before, you know, she just needs that good tempo and go to sleep early, and she can relax.
It was very, very good here, but once again, up along the fence there, chasing a leader. James McDonald set off very, very early on Shards there, and
too early.
Or he set off early on Holler earlier in the day and got away with that, and he'd won the race clearly. So I can't blame him for that. But he got chased down. Damien just said, no, I'll just sit here, do exactly the same thing, you know. I'll just wait behind until I have to come around you. It flattered the horses on the inside, I guess. And the only horse getting home out wide there, he was excellent, Tarzino.
Has to be the run of the day.
It was run of the day, sprint home, wide, everything against him, and he's bred to get a Derby.
He's 6-4 to win the Derby.
Well, maybe it's the right price, and maybe it should be shorter. And that was just we had an impossible task as it worked out yesterday. I still like to see him like he's dragging him back, and he's still not settling. That's a worry, even though you know you don't want a horse pulling in 2,500 metres.
Is the Schweppes Crystal Mile over 1,600 metres, as Matty's just articulated. We've got a short price favourite in Lucky Hustler. A quick look at the tote market as well, and also on course, and around $2.20 is available for Lucky Hustlers into the red on the tote, if you don't mind. Really alarmed with the drift to Bow Creek. $6 chances now all the way out to 14. You can have $16 on the tote. So that's
outstanding. Broke
on Lucky Hustler. They're away. Lucky Hustler, one of the first to bounce out of the stalls. Bow Creek slow by about a length and a half. Sons of John didn't jump brilliantly. Worthy Course, Strawberry Boy and last year's winner Hooked are all up there in the early stages of the race, and kicking up on the inside, Turn Me Loose to hold his place as well. Amavatio's gone back with Hopgar, and Amavatio is back last of all. Strong gallop. They're running to the 800 metres turn now. Opie Bosson has Turn Me Loose leading by a length. Strawberry Boy is second. Sons of John third. Worthy Course fourth on the outside. Bow Creek just behind them along the inside, now popping off the rail, followed by Hook 2 to Lucky Hustler. He's poised at the 600 metres, about to make his move as they bunch up in front. Then Richie's Vibe, Malice, Hop Garden off the bit. Amavatio back at the end with Rudy. Turn Me Loose, the leader, coming around the home turn from Worthy Course. Hook, Strawberry Boy. Here's Lucky Hustler. He's within 4, but the leader's kicked away around the bend. Turn Me Loose has 2 lengths. Lucky Hustler winding up now, coming on down the outside.
Bosson in front on Turn Me Loose. Boss trying to wind up on Lucky Hustler, but Turn Me Loose has got 2 or 3 in front. Getting tight the 100. Bow Creek starts to fly home, but Turn Me Loose held on and wins it. Turn Me Loose wins from Bow Creek. Lucky Hustler close fourth, maybe Worthy Cause on the inside of Malice, and then Hopgarden and Mavatio. Richie's Vibe followed by Sons of John. Rudy the next one over, and a break in the field to Hooked, and Strawberry Boy last in.
Turn Me Loose has pulled out an outstanding performance to win the Schweppes Crystal Mile. Another feature race success for Murray Baker and Opie Bosson, leading virtually all of the way in a very quick 1:35.02. It's about 0.3 of a second outside of the course record. Outstanding win. What a run by the runner-up, Bow Creek, at his first start here in Australia for Godolphin. John O'Shea and James McDonald. He's closed. He's going to Turn Me Loose. He's now had 10 starts for 5 wins and 4 placings, and he's had well over now $530,000 in prize money have been earned. He's got a fantastic strike rate. We'll hear from Murray.
Start, and we think he'll run 2,000 metres because he can run those sectionals. He's a speed horse, big strong colt.
Cup, not that long.
Close fourth, maybe Worthy Cause.
And the Opie Bosson and Murray Baker juggernaut. Matty, your boys just keep rolling on.
Yeah, headline, Murray Baker is Matt Stewart's cash cow. He has just been Mongolian into Turn Me Loose into the Seymour Cup.
It's all about your bets.
And as soon as the track became an escalator on the rails, didn't it change and the betting reflected it too, that Turn Me Loose was crunched. Lucky Hustler was disadvantaged for him.
Yeah, I think he came out.
Yeah, look, he's a natural leader. He just led up.
I'm just waiting for this halo.
Well, you don't need any halos in this one. When the leader just strolls along in front there, and look, he was going a fair clip too. He wasn't loafing in front.
Just outside track record pace.
Yes. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Quickly.
He won the Seymour Cup leading at his previous start. Just the same again. What can you say? The run of the race here, obviously, is Bow Creek, having his first run in Australia. He hit the line very, very hard. He's a 1,600-metre horse. He won a Group 2 in Ireland very hard. He's a 1,600-metre horse. He won a Group 2 in Ireland, so he's a pretty smart horse.
I'm convinced he should have won this race, but I'm not taking anything. I really like this winner. I think he's a really good, tough horse. To do what he does in races and over-race and not conserve energy is... You don't expect horses to finish off the way he does it. He's a good horse.
And he did...
$23 with tab.com. Happy Trails 23. Hartnell at 15. It's in a couple of points from 17 to 15. Mourinho's 35. The Cleaner $17 into $14. Pornichet at 71. A Rod is at $8.50 and very solid. Complacent 26. This horse, Galio's Shop, has also been very supported, well, strong in the market. 31 into 26. Kermadec now 9 out to 11. Preferment's always been around the 14. Highland Reel at 650, but Winks now has gone from 550 into 460 this morning. Back out.
Last introduced, but first on the market, Richo. So we've got Winks as our favourite for this year's Cox Plate, and it's been best back today, clearly over Highland Reel. So Winks at $5 into $4.80. Last turn there. Criterion, 6
Chip of Australia over 40 metres worth $3 million is of course a Group 1. 9 of the 14 have never raced at Moonee Valley before, Cambo, but it hasn't stopped them backing one of those 9 being Winks.
No, it hasn't stopped them backing Winks, and I mentioned before they're backing 4-year-olds, and that includes Preferment at the longer odds. There's been some...
The big races.
That's right, and right now it's about cool heads in the saddle.
Yes, and this is what sorts great jockeys from good jockeys and average jockeys. The Damien Olivers and the Glenn Bosses and the Ryan Moores and so on, they know what they've got to do. They're not nervous, they're waiting for the moment. They don't...
For this year's Cox Plate, just 2 days ago you could get $7 for Winks, but it is the favourite now, so...
Surely last year it was brutal early. This year, that first couple hundred metres, the jockeys will be looking around saying, where can we settle? Can we get a spot?
They're set, stand by for the greatest 2 minutes in sport. They're off. And and Winks jumped okay with the cleaner. Highland reel away brilliantly. He's out having a peep for the lead. Criterion went over their heels at the start. Complacent, Arrod are up there at the post, and then Mourinho and Galo Shop not far away. Down past the judge, and the cleaner has the lead from Arrod. Highland Reel just box-seated beautifully right behind them. Then Complacent moving to fourth, followed by Hartnell. Winks on the rail about sixth. Mourinho wide around Galo Shop. Criterion at the 1600. Pornichet on the inside of Kermadec, and then Preferment. Happy Trails and Faulkner went back to last. Up the side, 1400 left to go, and the cleaner has the lead. Just over a length in front of Arrod running second. Highland Reel is third. Complacent in the white cap is trapped out deep. He's fourth and on the improve, followed by Hartnell and Winks on the rail about 4 or 5 lengths away from the leader. They're followed by Mourinho, who's wide, and then Galo Shop midfield. Criterion the rail, a length and a half to Kermadec, Pornichet, then Preferment, Faulkner, and Happy Trails was now last. 1,000 metres to go, and the cleaner is the leader in the Cox Plate. Arrod a little bit keen second, Highland Reel third, Complacent deep out, and then came Winks getting up on the inside to fifth, one in front of Hartnell. Mourinho's been deep. Criterion over on the inside as they run the 800 metres turn. Galo Shop works clear. Kermadec about to go wide. Then Pornichet, Preferment, Happy Trails out wide. Faulkner last of all. The cleaner at the school, the leader from on the outside. Complacent and Arrod. Highland Reel is still there from Mourinho. Winks, well, Bowman's got plenty to give, and he's getting an inside run, and Criterion tried to follow him home, just had to clip off heels there. Winks got the dream run and shot to the lead from the cleaner. Criterion trying to get going with Highland Reel. They're followed by Hartnell and Happy Trails right off the track, but Winks is away and gone round the home turn. 3 lengths in front of Highland Reel, Criterion, and then came the cleaner, but Winks is well clear from Criterion and Highland Reel. Winks kept going by Hugh Bowman. What a win! Winks has bolted in the Cox Plate by 4 lengths to Criterion. Highland Reel ran third, Pornichet 4, then Hartnell, Faulkner, the cleaner, Galo Shop, followed by Preferment, Arrod. Back behind them is Happy Trails and Mourinho. Kermadec is second last. Last to finish was Complacent. She's blitzed them in the Cox Plate.
The 95th WS Cox Plate has gone to a champion mare. Her name is Winks, and she has smashed the course record. 2 minutes 02.98. She's beaten the record that was set by Might and Power when he was victorious in 1998. That is an outstanding performance by a 4-year-old mare, giving Chris Waller the first of the big 4 majors of Australian racing for him in taking out the Cox Plate. Similarly for Hugh Bowman, the first of the big 4 for him, and she has absolutely destroyed this high-class field. Number 14, Winks, heavily backed here on track. She has started the favourite. She's scored 2:02.98. Here's winning rider Hugh Bowman, who joins Sam.
Overwhelmed. All I wanted to be when I was a little boy was be a jockey. To be here riding on this stage is one thing, but to win a race like this, I can't tell you how much it means, and I'm so thankful, obviously, to Chris Waller and the connections of the horse. But, well, I drew barrier 1 and I had a lot of confidence in the mare, and I was a bit worried coming down this side here. You know, Highland Reel was staying one off, and there was a lot of room between me and the leader, which is not ideal, but she mare that was able to capitalise on the run that I got.
This is the key point of the 2:98. She's not only bettered Might and Power's track record, she smashed it, and she's put herself now in the rarest of territory, this mare. Of course, she bursts into prominence.
Just a superior athlete. I'm not just saying that, but just looking at her, you can see she's amazing.
I remember back to when she was beginning her career, you always talked her up. Did you ever think she'd go on, though, and become a Cox Plate winner?
No, you never do. Simple as that. We've obviously got a lot of good horses, but I don't even dare dream about Cox Plates.
Chris, let's talk through your plan for this race, because you had 3 runners. Winks with the inside barrier. Was it always the intention at the barrier draw to go to the rail?
Yeah, well, there wasn't really an option from that gate, and we turned it into a positive. I was actually more happy with that gate than the other 2. You can't do it at both ends, and there wasn't a lot of room. Like, there was a lot of room on the rail. Actually, it wasn't that crowded, and no, it was terrific.
Not many horses possess.
Now look where Winks is. He's past the school. Winks has come out to go out, but now he's come back. Look, the A-Rod's come out. There's a big run.
Ooh.
He's gone too soon, but he's got to go. He's just got to. He hasn't got an option. And she just left him. She was just outstanding, too good.
She was. Criterion got a little bit of a steady there, but the way that Winks accelerated when he pushed the button was just explosive.
But she would have done that last start in the Epsom. He panicked on her in the Epsom, and he learned a lot from it. You know, he tried to go at the 600 and clipped heels and nearly fell, and he realised what he had underneath him now could make up 5 lengths, which is a great horse, and 2 hops, and she did it today.
Well done to All Connections. This is where it opens up for the cleaner.
It just opened up.
And, well, Huey's in front there, and he just comes in on Criterion.
That could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
It didn't affect the result of the race, but it didn't help Criterion. Criterion actually didn't have much luck in the race. He missed the start, right? He should have been probably 4 or 5 lengths closer, and that happened. But in saying that, he wouldn't have beat Winks no matter what.
He wouldn't have beat him, but like I said, when we were watching the helicopter view, he did have to steady when Huey was sort of angling off just slightly, but then the run was, he just won supremely
She's outstanding.
Well. Yep.
Not many 3-year-old fillies come back to be champion 4-year-old mares. Not many. This is a champion 4-year-old mare.
All right, well...
Superstar. Australasia was looking for a superstar thoroughbred this spring carnival. Well, within a day, we found 2, didn't we? With Chautauqua on Friday night winning his second Group 1, and Winks...
Later on in the night, and
Cox Plate, and talk about all the great winners, and it is the who's who of Australian racing. She's broken Might and Power's track record over this trip, obviously, by 3 lengths. It is unbelievable.
She's an amazing horse to ride. To go around the valley the other day, I galloped around there, and it was kind of breathtaking how I pulled up. And I thought, I haven't ridden a horse around here like this. Like, we take our horse, she pulls up as though she hasn't done anything, and I think she's just a superior athlete. That's what she is.
Did you have...
She also saw that in her lead-up runs in Sydney this time in. Not too many horses, doesn't matter what opposition you're racing against, especially at Group 2 and Group 1 level, can get checked at the top of the straight, lose complete momentum and fly home like her. We never really saw the best of her this time in, leading into a Cox Plate, and there was those question marks, weren't there? Weight for Age, Cox Plate, 2000. But there was always that hint of this could be a superstar, and Chris mentioned that leading into it.
That's a lot of people knocked her Epsom run. They sort of said, oh, she hasn't beaten much, you know, she didn't win by much. But you're right, she got checked, and if she hadn't got checked, you'd hate to imagine what she would have done to that field, and she would have been paying even less yesterday. So she's proven to everyone.
And Arrod, Highland Reel is still there from Mourinho. Winksville Bowman's got plenty to give, and he's getting an inside run, and Criterion tried to follow him home, just had to clip off heels there. Winks got the dream run and shot to the lead from the cleaner. Criterion trying to get going with Highland Reel. They're followed by Hartnell, and Happy Trails right off the track, but Winks is away and gone round the home turn. 3 lengths in front of Highland Reel, Criterion, and then came the cleaner, but Winks is well clear from Criterion and Highland Reel. Winks kept going by Hugh Bowman. What a win! Winks has bolted in the Cox Plate by 4 lengths to Criterion. Highland Reel ran third, Pornish A4. Then Hartnell, Faulkner, the cleaner, Galo shop.
It was breathtaking, wasn't it? The official margin, 4 3/4 lengths. It got messy about 600 metres out, and the man who was able to seize on that opportunity was Huey Bowman. He wins his first main, his 54th Group 1. Look at the sectional time. She was a sectional star. There was other terrific runs right in behind from a Cups point of view. There was no knock at all on Criterion. Chatting, Matty, to David Hayes straight after the race, gee, if it was the margin was closer, they would definitely have protested, and Michael Walker was really, really flat.
Yeah, it just got slammed at about the 500 is the way Michael Walker reported it, and it cost him that passage to get closer, didn't it? And you look at this, we talk about the Melbourne Cup as being the greatest Melbourne Cup ever. The fact is, it's going to be the greatest race ever run in Australia.
Sudden 3 lengths
back,
that's right. 6 lengths off the leaders.
We'll turn back the clock a decade to the same scene at the 600, Maccabi Diva. The wall of 2005 and the wall of 2015. The difference in 2015 is that you couldn't make ground out wide.
Yeah.
You could. In that Maccabi Diva wall, they were coming from everywhere, and it was a fair spread, that concertina, wasn't it? This thing's about to fly at you. And, but yesterday, I mean, that over the helicopter shot showed it, didn't it? With, didn't it show how fast that escalator was up the fence there yesterday?
Justine, so well. The Cup winner's not even in the top market there.
They've both come through their Caulfield Cup runs well. Who Shot the Barman doesn't handle Caulfield. He lay out again, same as last year, and so we're just looking to Flemington for him and been doing a bit of jumping and things like that with him.
Boys, have you ever seen a Cox Plate like that in recent times?
No, it was a Sunline performance, I should say, from Winks. She's been so dominant all the way through this preparation. At the end of last preparation, that man Bowman again, what can we say about him? He just read the play beautifully. But it has to be said, it was disappointing to be on such a biased track. There was a distinct pattern towards the inside horses all day, which took a bit of gloss off the meeting, but not off the Cox Plate. That was just too dominant to be true. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you've been involved in Cox Plate wins. That was something special.
Oh, that was a good one, that one. She's a champion.
Yep.
Only champions can do that. OK, she got a little bit of help from the track and got a bit of good luck in running, which you need to get. If you're going to win a Cox Plate, you need to get good luck in running. But having said that, she smashed the track record. And, you know, beat the track record by almost 0.6 of a second. Now, Might and Power held that record for a long time. And I know the track started out a good 4 and was upgraded to a good 3, I think, after race 4. But and it was probably a good 2 by the time she ran. But you just don't beat this standard of horse by that far and not be a champion.
After that performance yesterday, who's to say that she wouldn't win another Cox Plate like that? You know, like next year.
Well, she can win a Queen Elizabeth in between.
She's in that form.
Your point is good. Let's not forget she went through the Sydney Autumn, went to the Brisbane Winter, and now she's peaking in the spring in Melbourne. Incredible.
Very hard to do.
It's the first.
Now, you see Criterion on the behind her. Now, Michael Walker sees the gap that's about to come from the cleaner in front there rolling off and tries to get in it before Winks does. And Huey, he just... Well, Michael saw it first, but Huey saw it in time, and she had way too much acceleration for Criterion, who battled on really well. Now, let's not... You've just got to temper this. The horses along the inside seem to have a big advantage on the day. And she was on the inside, Criterion. Pornichet, who you wouldn't have thought could have run fourth in a Cox Plate, has battled on the inside as well. The run outside of her, this is brilliant. I mean, that's just sensation. You're pulling her up on the line. But the run outside of her was probably Highland Real. He sat up on top of a hot speed and he was still battling there, 3 or 4 off the fence in the purple and white colours there. It was a very, very good run from him. So those top 3 are excellent. Behind them, I don't know quite what to make of them. Some of our noted weight for age horse just went OK. Yeah. I thought Hartnell was probably the best run for a future purposes.
Because of the track?
There's a funny thing you said about the track. They had the rail in the true position on Friday night. They moved it out 3 metres for Saturday. But the previous meeting, the rail was in the true position. So it's not like they've had the rail out and moved it back in and created a strip. I just think when you get very firm tracks on small turning tracks, your natural advantage is the inside, and I think it played that way big time.
Oh, there's no doubt. But look, that's not having a go at track curators. They've got the toughest job in the world, and that pattern has worked for them the last couple of years.
Yes.
You know, normal 3 metres has worked, but it didn't work yesterday. It's simple as that.
Well, the latest the rail was in the true position. So it's not like they've had the rail out and moved it back in and created a strip. I just think when you get very firm tracks on small turning tracks, your natural advantage is the inside, and I think it played that way big time.
Oh, there's no doubt. But look, that's not having a go at track curators. They've got the toughest job in the world, and that pattern has worked for them the last couple of years.
Yes.
You know, normal 3 metres has worked, but it didn't work yesterday.